What? A minute and 20. Just kidding. You're watching the Clint Baker Show.
Hey, everybody.
Woo, where are you, Dustin? There you go. Look at this. First off, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Yes. And there's Dustin. Right
I'm
there.
elusive.
Yes. I'm going to move my Clint Baker graphic up because your name is higher than mine, and that's not how we operate in this band.
I don't mind, David Letterman. Sit as high as you want.
Just kidding. So, Dustin, how are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Loving life.
Yeah.
Everything's going pretty good.
We're in the future now. Those who don't know, we're living in the future, and it's really weird. Yeah, we're all doing different stuff, and it's weird. And Dustin and I have been playing for a while now, a few years now. I was doing my own thing for a minute, and he hit me up one day. I actually went over to his kid's birthday party, and he was like, "Hey, man, let's start playing." So we got together. It's no business. This is just fun, and we've been playing. We've been having a great time, and we've gotten super close again, like back in the old days, like when we were kids. So it's great. So thank you, Dustin, publicly for pulling me out of that, because I noticed the first week after we started playing, I felt like a human being again. I was like, what? Why am I in a good mood?
We're just like peanut butter and jelly, man. As long as you like peanut butter and jelly, you know what to expect.
I enjoy apple butter myself.
Apple butter. Now I'm a strict peanut butter and jelly guy. I don't eat very many carbs these days, actually, but I often think about peanut butter and jelly fondly, and I don't know if you're peanut butter or I'm peanut butter, but either way, what would you prefer to be, Clint?
I'll be.
Seems like you're peanut butter. If I had to really guess.
Dude, you're consistent. And peanut butter is consistent.
If it's not crunchy peanut butter. Otherwise, the range is a bit rough for the rider.
Jelly can be really good for a minute, but then you get a stomach ache. There's not much nutrition.
It can come out gloppy.
Yeah.
It can get a little gloppy.
Peanut butter, there's nutrition.
Yeah.
It's like the staple. You can switch up the flavors
of jelly. You can trap animals with it. I don't know where that fits into the analogy, but it's something.
The rat killer, that's where it comes
from. That's right. OG.
So let's look at the comments. We have 0. I was supposed to do a Black Shirt podcast tonight. Oh, and D, you can look at me all you want. I switched your screen, so when I look at you, it doesn't look awkward. It looks like I'm looking at your screen. He's in our giant 48 by 48 foot studio. He's on the other side of the studio.
Immense. I feel very small in
You're
here.
so far away. But yes, that little eyeball right there.
That's what I should look at
when you're talking to the public.
When I'm like looking dreamily. When you're looking into Clint's eyes.
Yeah, make love to the camera when you're answering. Anybody seen the I Feel Fine video? It's okay for me to, hey, let's talk about myself. You know,
totally.
Usually that happens in life. People are like, oh, God, he's going to talk about Riddlin Kids again. But this time it fits. Yeah, I remember when we were doing the I Feel Fine video back in April Fool's Day of 2002. They were like, that's right. The Smith and Boren, the directors, they're like,
right.
That's right. Make love to the camera. And I did too. I was like, right now. Yeah, it was good times.
I believed you.
And
a lot of people on TRL believe you too.
Yeah, and you know what you got when I did that? I didn't have a bang.
Yeah. Ding. That's like the wink that who's the dude Liberace does. Ding. That's what I gave you.
Yeah. You know what you gave me? Like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nabisco. I'm having too much fun with the sound effects. I was going to remove those from the computer so that I can't even do that.
I don't think you should. I think it keeps it spicy.
Well, I also get to do stuff like, how do you determine the weight of a chili pepper?
I don't know, Clint. How do you do that?
Give it away, give it away, give it away now.
That's good.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's read.
I dig it.
Angie says, we're going to highlight Angie's comment. Angie says, hi, Dustin. Real big.
We miss you, Angie. We really do.
And
I still have an actual real photographs of you in the band to clarify in this current environment that we're in.
Dude, how could we be in the same room together without Dawn being on here. Dawn.
Dawn.
Hello, guys. Hi, Dawn. How
Hey.
you doing?
Don,
You
long
didn't-
time no hear.
You didn't have to waste your airline miles to
That's
to
right.
get to this show. Well,
Thanks
this
for
show,
spending
but-
those airline miles on us. We do appreciate it. Got brownies one time from Don. They were delish.
Yes. Because your heart isn't big enough. Put Shane Ellum says put peanut butter sound. Wait, peanut butter sounds great. Nut what? Nut butters evoke bad things. This
yeah.
I like cashew butter.
Dude, you guys are too fancy pants for me.
But I
Give me
don't-
plain old peanut butter.
I actually only like cashew butter if you got apples. Otherwise, it's just kinda, it is kind of weird. But you're on keto. Did you do?
Yeah, I'm
keto?
still the keto kid.
Isn't that the Green Lantern's butler?
That's Green Hornet, and it's keto.
Yes, you passed.
racist.
You passed. That's my thing. I'll be bartending. I'm
That's
like,
my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. I'm like, isn't that the Green Lantern's butler? And they're like, no, it's a diet. I'm like, oh, keto.
Do you remember my bass player game? It never worked on Mark because he never cared, but I used to play this with our old Nimoy's bass player Eric, and I did it to Mikey to great, ice cream headache for him. I would say, like, if there's an actor that you're watching on TV or movie, I would say the wrong actor that sort of looks like them, and then I would insist, and they'd be like, no, that's not him. I'd be like, yeah, the guy that was in that movie, and I'd go to another movie where it was an actor similar to him. Benicio del Toro vaguely looks like Brad Pitt.
Yes, yeah.
sometimes. That's what I would do until somebody just basically had a crippling ice cream headache and couldn't take it anymore.
I play that game. That's like
You play it well. You became the best at it. Actually.
I'm just give people ice cream headaches, but that new Harrison Ford movie cartoon with him and it wasn't Harrison. It was Dennis Quaid cartoon with the dog thing that just came out, like that one.
But it was Harrison.
It was
Ford.
Harrison Ford. Yeah,
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My buddy Chris,
if we can get somebody going, it is sweet.
dude, my buddy Chris T. He'll not Chris Kling, but Chris T. I'll tell him, I'm like, yeah, we're playing, dude. You got to come out. We're playing over. We're gonna have a show at the White Swan, and it'll be a nowhere bound show, right?
Yeah.
And I'll get a voice memo. And be like, hey, man, I'm just getting out of work at Nowhere Town. You guys are playing at the White Rabbit, right? I'm like, God damn it, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Nowhere
So
Town
good.
at the White Rabbit. Let's see what else we got. My head's not big enough. Boo. Angie, I miss you. Steve, Cedric, y'all are old.
Oh, Steve, yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
We are old. We're
Yep.
getting up there.
Miss you, Steve. The digit drummer, Steve.
Let's see here. Well, so Dustin, what have you been up to?
Man, I work. I'm a realtor now. I'm a dad. I got 2 kiddos, wife. I'm all adulted, getting into that adulting,
Grown up.
Yeah, pretty much. I Peter Panned it for so long. It's like, when the post office holds your mail, you think sweet, and then they here you go. And they hand it all to you. That's how my life went with getting everything at once.
You've been, dude. Of course, I know how he's doing. We
Yeah.
work up with each other on everything. But yeah, you've been doing great. You're I'm really stoked and proud of you. You're a good dad.
Thanks,
you got
man.
a great family. You got a great house. Everything.
It's weird. I found a creative outlet in real estate. And Gary, actually from Bowling for Soup, is a really awesome realtor too, up in the Dallas area. Shout out to him if you need to list a home in the area.
Gary
He is
Wiseman.
awesome. Yeah. And we sort of started talking about it around the same time. And I got my real estate license first. And then he was thinking about, doing it, and he got it, and his business really took off. But I find a strange parallel in the people skills that it takes to navigate being in a band than navigating being in real estate. Some of the same skill set, oddly enough. The other realtors don't maybe know about it, but having met so many people out there touring and then meeting people out in the workplace, having clients, I really can recognize personality types and what they want and what they need. It's really been a strange parallel, and I find a lot of creative outlet in it. And then still playing music with you, I still get to scratch that itch. So
I talk to a lot of people too, like bartending and even doing voiceover stuff. Which, funny enough, like I got into voiceover, and then Jarrett from Bowling for Soup got into voiceover.
Seems like we're doing it first, guys. I mean, nobody's copying anybody. But I mean, you know.
I was waiting for Funtime Pizza to contact me. But I'm just kidding. For those who don't know, our buddy Jarrett from Bowling for Soup is the voice of Chuck E. Cheese, and he's badass. And there's nothing weirder than going into Chuck E. Cheese and seeing animatronic things with your friend's voice coming out of the thing.
I actually went to a kids party at Chuck E. Cheese with my kid, and I was like, I was like doing like the weird, suck it. Like, my friend's Chuck E. Cheese. And none of the other parents thought that was cool, like, at all, except the Bowling for Soup fans there that were parents that didn't know. We're all getting a little older. Angie's got a little one. She's an awesome mom. She knows. It's like trying to keep, that old life and the fun times you had going with your new life. But, I mean, how do you like that? Like, you get older, you have kids, and now Jarrett's still in your ear singing his Chuck E. Cheese. I think that's awesome.
Tutti frutti on route. It's really funny.
Good.
I don't know if he actually did that song, but you know what? It's really good. And I don't know if I told you about it or if you're even clued into it. I'm going to backpedal real quick. Is what I was going to say is people would say, man, you're really good at talking to people. And I said, man, we toured for years and years shaking hands with everyone and talking to people. Like there's interviews, talking to just random strangers. Just like you and I both have a black belt in talking. You were actually
before we were ever in a band together, we were like talkers.
But going forward back in what we were talking about, Jarrett. I didn't even know this. I was talking to Jarrett about possibly but being on here with me, because he does his own stuff. He does Jarrett Goes to the Movies, and then I found out he did Rockstar Dad Show, and I didn't even know about this.
That's
do you know?
Pretty cool.
Do you know about it?
I didn't know about it.
Yes,
I would love to check that out.
Yeah, you need to check it out because it's awesome. It's Gary and Jarrett. It's Gary and Jarrett both, and this is an audio podcast, and they sit there and like once. Well, I was like, I haven't hung out with Jarrett in a long time, so I was like, if I'm going to have him on, I definitely want to do my homework and find relevant things to talk about, like you're supposed to do when you're a good interviewer. Not like we did tonight. We just showed up, and like I said, we could talk like
we don't
crazy.
need to rehearse.
Yeah, we don't need to.
We never need to
rehearse. We never rehearsed.
We
and
know
also,
what's up.
I don't know if you noticed, we're like 4 minutes late. That's normal. But
it's like old times.
Yeah. But yeah, this show is badass because it's like, hey, it's Gary and Jarrett, and they're like, and they're talking about dad stuff, and then they're like, this week we have Paul from Good Charlotte, and then it'll be a Rockstar Dad talking to them, and
yeah, that's rad.
And now we're all grown up, and it's like the problems and the things to talk about are different, and they're like, hey, so how about those Zoom sessions? Isn't that really messed up? Or whatever thing that they're talking about, like, I
gotta check that out.
Yeah.
That's rad.
Recycled diapers? I don't know.
Cloth diapers?
Yeah, all that stuff.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so it's like you should go listen to it.
I'll check it out.
And I didn't even get to go back and look at all the people they've interviewed, but I just think it's really funny to 15, 20 years after you start touring, be a like middle-aged guy with kids, and that's what life is all about.
I mean, what comes next, you know? If you're not Dave Grohl by now, you're probably not going to be Dave Grohl, so you better figure it out.
It'll be the retired rock star show.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I had to quit drinking.
Remember those days? Oh my god. Speaking of Rockstar Dad, somebody ought to nudge Dave Keel.
Yeah, Dave Keel, where the hell are you?
I hope he's awake somewhere and somebody like texts him like, Clint Dustin on the line.
I'm going to text him right now.
Maybe has had a couple in him and like throws a couple zingers across the plate.
I'm texting Dave right now. Dave Keel. So, Dave, I think
this Craw. I'd really love to talk to a drunk Craw right now. Midnight Oil, I'm going to burn you.
I don't know if this is the one. I have a couple. Dave, I have like 3 numbers for him, and they all say Dave's new number, and then the other one will say Dave's new number. Yeah. Hey, Dave. Me and Dustin are on Facebook doing a live stream! ! Let's see if he shows up.
He's like the Candyman. If you spin around 3 times and save Dave Keel, he usually appears.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Crawdad's doing all right. I haven't talked to him in, man, a good while. I need to talk to him again. But last I talked to him, I think he was a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
No
But he's
kidding.
probably above that now. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on his way to like brown belt or something like that. Or already, he's probably like, I've worked so hard, I'm a brown belt, you know. But I just haven't talked to him a little bit. But yeah, he got really into it. You know, he had the spinal bifida thing, like the guy from Motley Crue. But you know, stretching and doing jiu-jitsu really helped him out with that. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
He's gotten lots of certifications and stuff.
All from doing floor karate.
Yeah, I love how you call everything karate. That's awesome. People love that too.
Yeah,
it's almost like all girls love period jokes that I said before. Like, you know, all martial artists love being called karate guys.
It's just another form of karate.
Totally. It's all karate.
There, I think I got Dave. Let's see.
We'll know in a minute.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Well, right now we have 8 viewers. If anybody wants to hear something or talk or ask us something, is what I meant to say. Hit us up because we have 0.
You know what
script.
is righteous about Clint and I's experience of Riddlin Kids? Sometimes it's 180 degrees different. So if you've ever wanted to know something about Riddlin Kids, ask the question. Clint will answer it from his perspective. I'll answer it from my perspective. And I was sober the whole time, so you might get a completely different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I wasn't sober, I'd probably have my head up my ass most of that time too.
I don't know, man. You know, looking back on it, you know, Clint and I have like had long car rides sometimes to like discuss stuff about it. But I think that it's a tough thing when you're in a band with dudes and you get some kind of success, you all of a sudden get up in your head, no matter what happens. And it just, you know, you never enjoy it quite as much as you should be enjoying it while it's happening. And my big wish is I wish we would have enjoyed it more and enjoyed our company. But kind of the whole reason you start the band kind of gets pushed to the back a little bit to get business done during the whole flurry of touring and trying to have an album cycle and stuff like that. So that's, you know, my biggest regret, I've always told Clint, is I didn't play enough ball and I didn't enjoy it enough while I was doing it. By playing ball, I mean doing exactly what the record label told me to do. That's what I mean by playing ball. People out there say like, oh man, you should be like an artist, blah, blah, blah. And like, that's cool. But P.S. Dustin Stroud was never an artist. Maybe I should have listened a little bit to people that knew what they were doing.
We were entertainers, man.
We were entertainers.
I was an artist, but
yeah,
no, like it's weird. I was having a conversation today with Tim Stiegel today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
He's going to be on later on. I think Thursday night. I'm going to be doing a live stream with him and just talking about music. That guy knows everything about music. Yeah, Tim Napalm Stiegel, who he's reviewed Nowhere Bound. He writes for I think Alternative Press and the Chronicle. He's great. Like, and he's hilarious. And I got into he posted something. And I thought on Facebook, and I thought, I don't know if I agree with that. And I just kind of said, hey, that might be overblown or something. And most of the time when you do that, it's like, well, if you don't agree, go fuck yourself. It's the normal these days.
Or you're canceled.
Or blah, blah, blah. And like most people are sitting there fighting with each other about every single thing. And he said, well, man, I don't know if I agree with that, but thanks for commenting. And I'm like, hey, man, thanks for not getting mad. And he's like, yeah, you know, we don't have to agree. And I'm like, that's the most adult fucking perfect response ever. And again, it was just an opinion, and there was no right answer that I could see. I was just throwing a hypothetical. But anyway, the point is, after that, I already liked the guy, but I was like, dude, this guy's great, because most people are too insecure to say, hey, you know, I don't know about that. You know, anyway, it was cool. So he and I have been messaging back and forth. And just our messages back and forth are ridiculous. Like, he's a big fan of Elvis. He's a big fan of a bunch of stuff. So we've been talking back and forth. But we started talking about Elvis because I recommended the Colonel, a book about Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's manager, and just talking about all the crazy stuff that went on with that. And I read that on tour with Riddlin Kids way back in the day. But I was like, dude, you gotta read this book. And I started thinking about show business, you know. And he was like, yeah, he was kind of from his Carney days trying to just make money, and I started thinking about how that was like he pioneered pretty much taking a music guy and like oversaturating him and putting him all over and all of that. And I was like, wow, I never really thought about it like that, because like before Elvis and before all the Sun Records stuff, it's like that there wasn't that. And now and that's how they invented the formulas for all this.
And also, you know, he was really good. If you think about how many movies Elvis did, and he brokered every movie that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Once you got the money train rolling, you've got people invested in that train, and you can't let it slow down, because people's bottom line and people's livelihoods, not just the talent and the management, but studios, and it's like one thing leads to another, and it's like becomes like a little ball rolling, you know, snowball rolling down the hill, and you just got to keep it rolling as long as it can, you know?
Yeah.
So
and like this, in the whole cycle of things, we're like, okay, guys, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna tour, we'll release this EP, then we're gonna record a record, then we're gonna put a video out, and then we're gonna put the stuff to radio, and all that, and then we'll release a record. Well, and then we're gonna after this long, we're gonna do it again, and then we'll do it in this order. We'll do it. It's like a pattern. They invent a template of how to do it, like. And he was the first one to do that, but he started incorporating all those movies. If only they'd have made a bunch of shitty movies for us to be in.
Yeah, totally.
We would have been huge.
We could have just, you know, lived off the soundtracks.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
I got my SAG check today.
Oh man, I wonder. I didn't. You know, Clint, I didn't get a check. That could be the difference between a lead singer and a rhythm guitar player.
That's right. This is that House MD money.
Yeah, dude.
What's up?
That's right, dude.
What's up, Brandy?
A lot of you guys don't know this, but Clint was a burgeoning actor. He absolutely was.
Virgin
of virgin, take your pick. But yeah, man.
Oh, here we go. Dan Walker just asked. Dan, one of my favorite bass players.
Dan, make it juicy, brother.
He said, best, worst interaction with a drunk person at a show. I'm going to give that to you because you were always sober.
Ooh.
And it might have been with me.
Dude, that's really hard because I'm super lucky. I didn't have very many bad interactions with people, actually. To be honest, like I'm not even being like glazing it over. But I'm trying to think if there's anything weird. I mean, really, the only thing that comes to mind, drunk interactions with somebody at a show, and I don't even know if they're drunk, but we toured with Face to Face and Monine, and they were throwing change at us. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I was pretty lively and jumping around, so I didn't notice that change was being thrown at us. We were being pelted with, you know, with silver money, the big ones. You know what I mean? And I was jumping around, moving around, but Clint had to stay still and sing. So I think he might have taken a couple wings. And this is in Denver where we did really well.
That
might have been the Bluebird.
There was a different show where we played with the Cottonmouth Kings.
Oh, dude, I was going to bring that up, but I don't know if any of those people were drunk. But yeah, it was weird. For sure.
I can tell you. And I can't remember if it's the Bluebird or the Ogden. It's the bigger of the bigger one.
Ogden's the bigger one.
Yeah, it was the Ogden.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I think that
sold out the Ogden. # no bragging.
Yeah,
Denver people.
Yeah, and if that isn't
Bluebird.
cool enough, we played Red Rocks. Yes. Yeah. I think at the Face to Face show, I stepped in the beginning. Like the band is sound checking up front, and this could have been at Cottonmouth Kings, but I stepped. The owner of the club had a dog walking around, and I stepped in dog shit in the club, and I was walking all around, talking to everybody. All the techs, all the gear was in the house, and then they're rolling things around through footsteps and dog poop, and
that is sweet.
And then I was, God, what's that smell? And I figured out that I was the one that tracked dog shit all over the entire club, and I walked outside, and it was like there was no saving those shoes. I just took them off and threw them into the trash can and went, and I had a backup pair of shoes. And
I don't have recollection of that. That's badass.
It was so gross.
That's really great.
I might have gone next door and bought some Vans. I might have gotten some Vans next door.
That is
like
really great.
Yeah, but it was like, but I had like a strange guilt and also like diabolical smile,
Yeah, you're like
while we're playing, because I was like, all of those people are stepping in dog shit. Like it was everywhere. Like there was so much of it. It was
That's
so gross. And then, but the Cottonmouth King show, we're playing, and I got pelted. I mean, with like $3 in quarters, dude. Like,
dude, yeah.
boom, like right in the face. And I saw this freaking juggalo.
Yeah. Shout out to juggalos. We're not adverse to juggalos.
The whole room was filled with face paint. The entire room. Yep. I wasn't adverse to juggalos until I got pelted in the face with about $3 in quarters.
It's sort of like a,
No.
No? I was going to say like a term of endearment for a juggalo to take a swing at you.
Mark, who, by the way, isn't here tonight, I haven't talked to Mark lately. I run into him once in a while. I haven't seen him in a while, but hopefully we get to see him sometime soon.
Yeah, man.
But Mark got spit in the face at one show. That was in Kansas City, Missouri.
Do remember
by a juggalo. It's like, why did you do that? And then
is that where I fell in a hole in the stage?
That's
in Kansas City, Missouri.
That's where the kick drum was this far from the front.
Now I remember.
And we were trying to kind of push us off the tour. And we were like, oh, yeah? And so they set up, and they're like, you got to set up in front of us. So there was this much room. So what I did is I put a mic stand in the barricade the way on the floor, and I had one foot on the barricade instead of on the stage, on the barricade, and the other foot on the stage, and I was hovering over the gap. And we refused to be pushed off the tour. And I don't know,
We got progressively smaller every night. Yeah. It was almost like a joke.
It was passive aggressive. And we didn't fit on that tour. Like Zebrahead, who's one of our favorite bands to ever tour with. Man. Yeah, they fit in because they had a rapper. Like, and so they had a rapper, and then Anybody Killa, who was from ICP's label, and then ABK, and then it was Cottonmouth Kings who toured with them. But like,
shout out to Cottonmouth Kings.
Yeah, and so us.
Shout out Suburban Noise.
Yeah. We didn't fit in. We were like, what's this pop punk band doing on with these others? And I think Zebrahead was supposed to bridge the gap between the two, but it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't.
So
but we shared a bus with them. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and every day me and Justin used to run to the bus to cross the day off on the calendar. Like, we didn't want it to end because we were having so much fun, but we were like, this is some bullshit. But anyway.
Remember, I was depressed, and Justin used to call me depressed.
Yes.
That was awesome.
What was funny though, I get pelted in the face with quarters, and then you're like, and then Dustin's in the bathroom, and he sees some kid crying in there.
Yeah.
And the kid's crying, washing off his face paint, and you're like, hey man, what's the matter, kid? And he's like, they're making fun of me out there. And Dustin, being the supportive good guy, he's like, hey man, don't ever let anybody make you feel that way.
That's right.
F those guys. You seem like a smart dude. Like, you're a cool dude. Just go find some people that aren't shitty people, man. You don't deserve that. Don't ever let yourself be made to feel that way. And he's like, thanks, man. I thought you guys were a bunch of pussies, but you guys are pretty badass, I guess. And
Clint truly tells that story better than me. Yeah. Shout out to Tony Robbins. I used to be super positive and everything. I slowly got jaded and turned to the dark side over time, but
yeah, that kid had been probably talking smack about us like everybody else the rest of the night before. And then you made an impression. He probably bought a T-shirt, man.
I turned it around.
Oh, let's see what else.
My wife was gonna come on here, but she's like, whatever. I'm tired. My wife's German from Germany. She's pretty awesome. Shout out to Germany.
Yes. Shout out to wives.
I'm gonna throw a lot of shout outs out tonight.
Let's see here. Dan Walker, and then I got Dustin. What were you going to
say? Dude, the drummer saved our butt, though.
D, was that his name? D?
No, it was like something dog.
D-Dog?
I want to say Nate Dogg, but I know that's from the,
If anybody knows, it can comment his name.
Yeah.
Or Google it, because I don't have time to be sitting here Googling because I'm talking, but y'all can Google.
Yep.
It's the drummer for Cottonmouth Kings who plays on the bicycle drum set.
Yeah.
That guy.
He came out and he's like,
he's a big fro.
Y'all need to chill out. these people play from the heart and blah, 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 blah. I'm paraphrasing, of course, you know, and they did chill out a little bit. They waited 3 songs to throw shit at us and scream at us and spit on us.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, if you're a young band, you got to get out there and play some shit where they don't give a fuck about you. They want you to just get the fuck off the stage and have the headline band come out. That's what actually builds your stage, your showmanship, your ability to play, your ability to win over a crowd. Because you can just, every time we went out there and played, even though they hated us, 2 or 3 people came up afterwards and were like, hey, you guys are pretty good. Never heard of you guys before. That's what matters, man. Because if people, it's easy to play for people that have paid money to see you. It's difficult to win over juggalos. And, you know, I think I won some hearts and minds that night with our fellow juggalos. And I like Faygo as much as the next dude that doesn't drink Faygo very much.
Yeah. We still haven't been invited to the gathering, though.
Nope.
Which props to the gathering for canceling due to COVID-19. They wanted what was best for their fans, and they decided not to assemble for that. So that's responsible. So
I'm really down with juggalos. I feel like they're a lot like me in high school, where I wasn't really included at the smoker tree, and everybody else thought I was a dork too. It just goes to show, if you start your own damn thing and then beat the hell out of other people that aren't like you, you can go a long way.
Shane Ellum said, you said, sometimes you got to play ball. He said, playing ball is not punk rock.
Playing ball is punk rock. Name a punk rock band that came along that wasn't successful pre-1994 that wasn't successful.
What about the Ramones?
The Ramones were signed to a major record label
that's
twice.
Weird. What about the
Sex
Clash?
Pistols were signed to a major record label twice.
What about the Clash?
The Clash, I think, was signed 3 times to a major record label.
Oh, that's weird. Who else?
Man, that's so weird. It's almost like it's rock and roll played by musicians that can't play rock and roll awesome.
Boom! Boom! Boom!
But but I don't want to contradict Shane because he's my boy.
That's right.
And shout out to Shane being an excellent storyteller in his cartoon. If you haven't checked that out, you need to go check that out.
You gonna say the name of the cartoon?
Alien Service.
Alien Service. Go check it out.
Somebody that's talking right now may or may not have sang on the theme song.
Yeah. Oh, and we're going to we'll put a link to that. It won't be on. Maybe I'll. Shane, actually, you're on there.
Yeah.
Put a link to your stuff in the comments of this video, and then when I move this over to YouTube, because I bump all my videos end up on my YouTube channel. That's the Clint Baker Show. If you're a YouTube guy, I'll have the video in the comments over there in the information stuff.
Shane, you're legit.
There was a thing about the thing that somebody said, and I got to scroll back.
And I missed you.
Oh, not sure if Dustin had heard the remastered Alien Service theme song he did a few years back. Got a link for the new look.
I think I've checked it out, the remastered, but I will check it out again. And I love whenever I think about it, and I'm like in front of many Starbuckses during this whole COVID slow motion apocalypse, I'll park in front of a Starbucks and steal their Wi-Fi on my way to my next appointment. I would oftentimes think about you and go back and check out what I could check out from Alien Service. I strongly suggest people out there that want to have a good time and think aliens are cool and funny, and Shane's a brilliant writer, go out and check that out.
Yeah, go check it out. And Gary from Bowling for Soup doesn't steal Wi-Fi. He has his own Wi-Fi.
Huh?
He doesn't steal Wi-Fi.
He has his own Wi-Fi?
Yeah,
Did he say that?
He pays for it.
Oh, I do too, but out in the country.
I'm just kidding. He didn't say. I'm just giving you shit.
He's definitely more of a top shelf.
Gary says, "How ghetto, Dustin? Pay for Wi-Fi. What's wrong with you?"
I do pay for Wi-Fi, Gary, but I live on 3.6 acres, and we get satellite internet, which is almost like the AOL. Me, ding, 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 ding.
I'm just playing, dude.
I have people pulling a rickshaw outside that can get on the internet faster than me. Shout out to rickshaws. Diane
Vanderberg said,
Diane, what's up?
What's up? I'm going to put her comment up here on the screen. It says, Dustin, just one old memory. Ripped pants, LOL.
Dude, I don't know if you know this, if anybody knows this, but if you've ever toured with a gentleman named Asshole Billy, We know him as Billy.
Oh,
But
Billy.
I never knew, nobody ever clued me in, not even in my Hesher Metal days, about stretchy pants. Even Dogpile, back in the day of punk rock, like all the punk rockers, when I was a baggy pants punk, they never clued me in. They're like, hey, dude, don't wear baggy pants. These stretchy pants are going to let you do your kicks and
We
jumps.
don't like baggy pants punks.
Yeah, I was a baggy pants punk. But so this guy Billy gives me a pair of, like, I don't know if they were Express. I think they were Express women's jeans that had like 3% stretch in them, and it was like liberated. I literally felt like, Philadelphia freedom. I felt like I was coming out of the closet, dude. I was like, yeah, shine a light. I was like wearing these pants. I could stretch everywhere. So a little thing about me, I've never not worn pants with stretch in them since then. In fact, I prefer a cotton poly blend with at least 2% of elastine in it. And
Chuck Norris action jeans.
that's right. Chuck Norris knew what he was doing, but I guess Chuck Norris jeans kind of went dormant for a little while or whatever. But anyway, so I was in the band Sail of the Angels, the singer. I'm jumping on stage and I do my Riddlin Kids kick, like, yeah, like, and my jeans rip, my stretchy jeans, and like, I wear like boxer briefs, so me twig and berries weren't hanging out, but you could see my white, oh so white legs, right?
Dude, you almost pulled a Lenny Kravitz.
Dude, my chocolate iguana did not come out at that time. But Lenny Kravitz is awesome. Everything about him, from the staging of like his codpiece flipping off and like showing everybody what he's working with, you got to let love rule. And he did on stage when it popped out.
And it popped out and it made this sound.
Yeah, it didn't. It probably laid heavy and lazily, making like a soft thud like sound. Like a wet newspaper hitting the pavement.
Like in Seattle when they throw the fish, but then the guy doesn't,
catch it.
He doesn't catch it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to Lenny Kravitz, guys. Shout out to that iguana.
You're doing a lot of shout outs.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so anyway, my oh-so white legs, you can see the blue veins. I'm like Nosferatu under my clothes. I've got totally like a terrible like redneck tan. But so Diane's like taking pictures, and like the people in San Angelo, they're kind of like man's men. You know what I mean? They're like, oh man, he's definitely like, man, he ripped his pants. They got to stop the show. I just reached down and just like ripped it the rest of the way. And you could see dudes like just like embarrassed for me, like looking away. But I just like rocked it with basically like, the tundra down under, like just like showing. So
you're like, I'm not gonna let little tear stop the rock.
I've pretty much always been a dork, and when I can make it work for me, I try to make it work. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, Diane,
that is a good story. I've never heard that story.
That was like, I like to embarrass too. We had this bass player named TJ, and if I can embarrass him, like I totally.
Is it the same Billy that
What?
That,
oh yeah.
I don't even know if we should tell that story.
No, don't tell that story. That's for another time.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do like a self-defense, whatever, and tell that story.
That was a crazy one. I mean, it was 15, 20 years ago.
This guy Billy is like a really exceptional tour manager. We have a couple of really good tour managers. I put me lowest on the totem pole. I love Shane, but
dude,
if I want to have a drunk story, you wanted to hear a drunk story of dealing with a drunk. I lost Shane. And who else? Was it you or Mark?
Dude, that was the night that
I drove back and forth across Chicago 5 times looking for our tour manager, Shane.
We won't say his last name just because he's a professional.
Yeah, he's awesome dude.
He's doing great things.
Awesome
he's doing good stuff. But
it was early in our career and we were partying like Vikings. Well, I wasn't.
We played at the I told the story the other day.
Did you tell the story?
Yeah, I've told
That's a really good story, dude.
I don't know if you know the beginning part, but we played.
I was like out of my mind. I thought it was going to be Unsolved Mysteries.
I don't know if Stubby's watching right now.
Stubby, what's up? Shout out to Stubby.
I'm gonna tag him. Oh boy, I gotta tag him in this. Let's see.
Am I like moving my chair back and forth, and it's totally like moving the?
Just don't touch the table and your camera.
Yeah, I ain't
won't-
even touching.
But
the
your
table.
chair is not going to mess
Yeah.
with anything.
I'm not exactly a professional like Clint. I don't do podcasts. I'm not what you call a good talker. I'm not learned. That's a Chris Farley reference. Shout out to Chris Farley.
Cool. I just tagged Stubby, so maybe he'll pop
Yeah,
up in
dude. I miss Stubby too.
Yeah.
Lucky Boys Confusion. Shout out to Lucky Boys Confusion.
Yeah, big shout out to Lucky
Yep.
Boys Confusion. We loved playing with those guys.
That was rad.
Yeah, we loved playing with. So we played at the House of Blues, and I'm gonna embarrass myself on this one because I was kind of I was real drunk. But House of Blues was fun because there was like a bunch of our favorite people always showed up. The bands, we always had fun bands to play with. The House of Blues is a class act. Like you show up into the green room, and there's just like huge fridges filled with beer and like delicious food everywhere.
It's exactly how you think it would be as an unsigned band if you made it.
Yeah, when we
And so few venues are actually like that when you show up, you're like, oh, yeah, this is what I dreamed about when I was delivering pizza.
Yes,
and,
that one day we're going to have these. It was only at the House of Blues, and the downtown in Long Island was
the
like.
downtown and then the Norva was really good.
Norva was really good
Yeah.
too. Yes. See, did we get just got a. Maybe? Nope.
I heard that.
Yeah, it wasn't him though.
Heard that.
Okay. Much appreciated. Shane says, I have to show you the new anime, rolling on the floor laughing. The unauthorized series. Okay, and then I don't think anybody told me the Shane said something about Fugazi. He just, excuse me, he said, Lou Dog. Thank you, Dan Walker.
Lou Dog.
Lou Dog, that's who it was.
That's who it was. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Dude.
Yeah. Lou Dog was awesome. Awesome. So
Shane said something about Fugazi.
it just says Fugazi.
Listen, man, you're right. You're absolutely right. Fugazi was one of those bands that, I got into music. I started playing guitar because of Fugazi. I grew up on arena rock. I was a Hesher, I had a mullet. I got into punk rock because of the Ramones and the Misfits and all that. I didn't know what it was all about. I was a metalhead, Hesher, right? And then I heard of Fugazi. I heard what Clint refers to as 13 songs as a CD, but the Fugazi tape, the first Fugazi tape, I don't think it even had a name.
7 songs?
But it wasn't called that. That was good. That was really good. That almost gave me an ice cream headache. I'm like,
7
the
songs?
blast
Yeah,
shield.
I've seen the cassette.
Blast shield came down.
The cassette's called 7 songs.
It's
And then
not called
then
that.
the other one is called Margin Walker.
Yeah, totally. Well, there's Margin Walker and the first Fugazi tape or whatever, but it's just
Are
Fugazi.
13 songs put together.
And it's just the same thing on both sides.
7 songs.
Which is awesome when you have a tape deck that flips the tape over because you can just listen to that thing on repeat. And I did that. And that's why I got into music. And then Op Ivy every 7-inch that they could fit on the other side of the mixtape. And when I heard I literally like Steve Martin on The Jerk when he was like, I found my special purpose. I'm like, I really was like, oh my God. And I've been chasing that my whole life. I've been chasing that my whole life, my whole career.
Not to be going off on side adventures.
We'll get back.
Two of the most, the funniest things I've ever seen were one time, and I just told Tim, I was texting Tim these stories because he mentioned the Descendants, and we were just talking about different stuff. But yeah, one time we were on Red River and 5th Street. We were killing time because we had a emos showcase where we were going to play right after the Fat Record showcase, and we're walking around killing time, and Carl Alvarez from the Descendants says, "Hey, Dustin." What? And he turned around and like, who's calling me? And it's the bass player for his favorite band.
I literally screamed like a girl inside. I was just like, oh my God.
And it was an all show that was happening.
God.
He came over and gave him a flyer. He was like, hey, Dustin, will you come to our show? And we're like, what the hell is happening?
Dude.
And we went to that show, dude. We were like there was like 6 people at that show, and 4 of them were us.
Dude.
There was nobody at that show. We saw them at Schultz Beer Garden on 17th. They murdered it like they were playing a crowd of 20,000 people. It was unbelievable. One of the best shows ever, and it was just Riddlin Kids and 2 randoms that were there, and it was awesome. One of the best shows. So
and then one more thing, and get back to House of Blues, because House of Blues rules.
Then I told him, and the next time we were at, because he was like, yeah, and I interviewed Stephen Egerton, and I was like, funny you say that, because we went to we played Copper Mountain outside of Denver at the ski resort we played a snowboarding event with MXPX. And because MXPX had recorded the blasting room, they knew those guys, and Stephen Egerton was there doing monitors for MXPX.
And legendary, shout out to legendary front of house Rat.
And so we ended up going to dinner with the guitar player for MXPX, and was it Tom? Is his name?
Tom, yeah.
Tom, yeah. And Stephen Egerton from the Descendants.
I gave him a vicious ear beating. Just everything I could think of.
So we're sitting there. I'm sitting there cutting my steak, and it's like, so then we're rolling down the road, and Milo says blah blah blah, and Dustin's like,
yeah, I was literally like
7 chipmunks swinging on a branch.
Oh my God.
So, back to the House of Blues, the best spread ever. We play, like we get drunk. Like I got real drunk. Mark got drunk too. And afterwards, they have this place called the Foundation Room upstairs.
It's a secret room.
Yeah. And I was drunk and single, and I'm like bumbling around there, and at this point I'm drunk, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you saw me, but I played tonight. Like,
that's awesome.
Girls like, ew, and then I'm like, whatever. And then I was like to her friend, hey, I don't know if you saw me, but what are you doing? They're like, ew. And the security guard saw me, and they're like, dude, this guy's too drunk. I don't even remember any of that shit. They told me.
I didn't know that part.
They told me.
Pretty good.
So the security came and got me and was dragging me out, not violently, but but I couldn't really even walk.
Helping you.
Yeah. And the tops of my feet were dragging, and they helped me down the stairs, helped me down to the elevator, and took me out. And then I got down, and they're like, here you go, man. Sleep it off. That's your van? I'm like, yeah, that's it over there. Like, here you go. Push me that way. And I go over, and then I see Mark throwing up behind the van.
Oh.
And then so we're both drunken idiots back there, and then we hang out for a while. Then you come, and you're like, come on, guys, get in, damn it. And it's because our tour manager is lost. Like,
that's
what?
Right.
Yeah. And so me and Mark, like, both passed out, and I'm passed out, and I'm in the front seat. Dave had gone back to the hotel.
Yeah,
back to Aware.
That's right.
Back to Aware Records. And I'm passed out like this, asleep. I just lost my headphones. Asleep in the van.
Yeah.
And after Dustin driving around looking for our tour manager, who's drunk with a whole bunch of our money in his pocket, after a while, I wake up, and I'm like, hey, man, what are we doing? And anybody who's been around drunk people and is completely sober knows that drunk people are really obnoxious. And somehow I went from drunk to not very drunk. I like sobered up like that and woke up. So I don't know if I took a bunch of shots.
Came up like Dracula.
Yeah, I don't know if I took a bunch of shots that knocked me out, because that used to happen all the time. People just buy you shots all the time, you know? And so, but all of a sudden I burned through that alcohol and woke up, and I wasn't that drunk, and you're like, shut up and go back to sleep. Dude. And like, I'm like, no, dude, just go there. You're like, just go back to sleep. And poor Dustin's driving around downtown.
Do you know that there's a bridge that goes from part of downtown to the other part of downtown to the House of Blues, where the Dave Matthews Band bus driver and Dave Matthews Band got in trouble because they released like all the shit from the bus. Like, the bus fills up with shit and piss, and a good bus driver will drive somewhere and like have it pumped out, right? But a bad, person that doesn't care about the environment will just drive over a bridge or somewhere and just release the shit. Well, there was a boat going underneath, and so that stuck in my head. Like, years later, when I heard about that story, I'm like, that's that bridge that I drove across like 5 times that night looking for Shane. Like, totally, yeah.
That happened to us one time when we went into Edmonton, Canada. Like, we went all the way up to Edmonton, Canada. Everybody was asleep except me. I was awake talking to the bus driver. And I really had to go, and he was like, I was like, because for those at home that don't know, people don't people don't poop in the bus. That's
You get
just
in
a thing.
trouble.
Yeah, you don't
You
do
get in
that
serious
like
trouble.
unless you're like Miley Cyrus or somebody that's like probably might even own the bus. You know what I mean?
You get fined though. Even if you're Miley Cyrus,
Yeah.
they'll make you pay.
Well,
You have to pay
but
extra.
it's like way expensive. Only like A-list people
Yeah.
poop on the bus. You know what I mean? You don't do that. Because contrary to what people think, 99% of the people that are touring in a big bus like that, they're leasing those buses. So
Yeah.
you don't poop in the leased bus. It's just you don't do that. So anyway, but I really had to go and it was cold and we were
Yeah.
way up north and I can't remember that guy's name. It was the one that pulled over with the
Yeah. With the Zares.
yeah.
Yeah. With the prostitutes. Yep.
Yeah,
To scare us. Like,
it was
this is what
just
it's
it was to scare us. He
Dude,
wasn't.
well, oh, Dave will know.
And this was, mind you, this was
He was so good, dude.
this was like 17 years ago or
He was
something.
a really
but
good driver too, because that was some really scary, icy weather. Like I
Yes.
felt and we were on a Death Trap Eagle, which if you don't know, like when hair bands tour, that you're like, man, how are these guys in a bus? There's a Death Trap Eagle, which is like worse than the Almost Famous bus. Then there's a Van Hool. Then there's Prevost, and then there's whatever crazy thing I don't know about anymore because I'm old, but. Eagles are like the lowest man on the totem pole. You're in an RV, then you're in an Eagle, then you're in a Van Hool, then you're in a Prevost. And like
we had
Yeah.
bunks, so it was a bus,
the only reason we're in that is because
Our van died.
van died and it was like Memorial Day weekend and we couldn't rent an RV or get another van, so we got a bus.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
That was crazy. But
His name's on the tip of my
I can't
tongue.
think of it. But
Thought about him the other day.
I thought it was
actually.
Edward, but it's not.
No.
I can't think of his name. But we anyway, everybody's asleep and
deuced it?
the Aurora Borealis.
I remember
We saw that and y'all were asleep and I was like, badass. And then I was like, dude, I gotta go. And he's like, just go on the bus, man. It's cool. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, just don't tell anybody. But yeah, it's cool. And so I did, and then he just let it go on we were in the middle of nowhere, and then he just dropped some extra chemicals in there and let it go. And I was like, all right, now I feel like Britney Spears,
Yeah, dude.
I've deuced on a bus.
That's right.
That's when you've made it. Like, how do you measure success? When you've deuced on the bus.
That's right, and they don't yell at you or fine you or call your manager. That's right.
Yes.
Clint made it rain. It was a chocolate rain.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. We thought we were like, big, like we're cool and we're like worldly. And then he's like, y'all want to see some ladies? And we're like, I don't know. And he pulled this really seedy area. Maybe it was Vancouver. I don't remember, but it's an area where it's like the red light district if you're in Europe.
Yeah.
And it's like, hollering out the window at like
he was teasing us. They were some sketchy prostitutes walking around
really
out there,
scary,
and he's he was like,
street workers.
How much to come up here? And we're like, dude, no, what are you doing? And then he was like, okay, we're gonna go around the block and think about it.
Yeah.
And
it was like an episode of Scared Straight. It was like,
that was funny.
I don't want it.
And he was just messing with us, but yeah, dude was hilarious.
It's pretty awesome. Damn, what was his name?
I can't
I really liked that guy.
remember.
We got pretty lucky. We only were on a bus like 2 or 3 times. We were mostly like vanning it. And we thought we were real cool one time. We got in a deal for playing this production, call it the Sugar Bowl
Yes.
production. We got an RV one time out of the deal.
Huge RV.
It was a huge RV with one of those pop-out sides. But RVs are kind of like, they're only cool for a little while. The stuff starts to break down. You think it's going to be like your bus, but I think we ended up somewhere in Florida, like sleeping on park benches because we were dying inside the RV. It was so hot.
The liquids, the fluids
Yeah.
start coming through the sink. There's
Yeah.
like a kitchen sink. And all of a sudden, the bathroom fluids are coming up out of the drain,
Yeah.
and you don't know if they're gonna stop in time. You're like, no,
And then you're just like
so
somewhere
gross.
like like Randy Quaid for Christmas Vacation. Shitter's full.
Do you remember? You remember when Dave was pumping the thing? Dave was
And it
pumping.
sprayed out on him.
It
a little
sprayed and
bit.
it got on him. She was putting the hose on there, and it got
Yeah.
on him. And oh my god.
Memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of times. Another time we took an RV. We were on Warp Tour. We were playing the Kevin Says stage, and that was when Double J was with us. Shout out to Double J.
Oh yeah, Double J.
Yep. I think he still works at some capacity for Victory Records, possibly.
Cool.
Shout out to Victory Records. But
there's still record labels?
yeah, man.
That's weird.
I don't know anymore. They might be closing down with like your, local bar and grill. But we're sleeping somewhere and we wake up to this meep, 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 and we were sleeping a long time, and it was the carbon monoxide warning.
Or you could just click on the link on my page.
Yeah, we were slowly getting gassed.
Oh yeah, that was scary.
Yep.
Dave was asleep in his. Dave was asleep in the van in the freaking RV. And
I was in there too. I was like, how long? Because I had a dream. I was like dreaming about it. I'm like, how long have we been breathing this carbon monoxide, man? That might have been like it. That might have been like our Metallica moment.
I think that time
you guys would have like replaced me with somebody with like,
Yeah, that was rough. When your transportation gets terrible gas mileage and bad gas mileage.
Yeah.
Bad. It was not a diesel. It was bad. And then we were getting carbon monoxided out.
And people don't know this that haven't toured with a band that tours in a bus and you don't tour in a bus. The band sleeps until it's time to like load in, and your driver of the bus drives through the night, right? They wake up at like 2:00 in the morning and get in the van at 3 and the bus at 3, and they drive to the next show. So if you're a band, you got to follow the band that you're headlining because you got to be there to load in too. So that driver sleeps through the night. Chances are nobody in the band is napping and is going to be ready to drive and be frosty. So that's one of the like, oh, we're on tour with the big band, but you are actually chasing a bus if you're in a van. And sometimes the band is super cool and they let you have what's called the driver's room for you to shower in or sleep if it's a day off or something like that. And we've been lucky a couple of times, I think with Goldfinger and with Mighty My Boss Tones and with Real Big Fish that were super cool and let us, shower and sometimes sleep in the day room, these day rooms that they have for the bus drivers.
Dustin, remember when Annie left in the van? Wait. I think that's a autocorrect messed it up. Remember when somebody left the van on and killed the battery in Slovenia?
That's probably me, right?
I don't know.
Is that me?
It says when Annie. I don't know if Annie, A-N-Y, Annie, but I don't know if that's in
Slovenia. I'm trying to think.
Slovenia. Andy.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Andy. Dude, so when we were on the Born to Lose, I was in Born to Lose for a very short time. So if you guys are old enough to remember the show Chips.
Which, by the way, if anybody's listening, please share this so that other people can get in on the action because, just in case. I shared it on my page and
who said
stuff.
That, by the way?
What?
Who said that?
That's Thomas. Thomas is in the house.
Woo! What's up,
You want to give him a shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Thomas, the best Krav Maga personal trainer that I know of, and that he's certainly whipping my ass, and he's out there. So shout out to Lions Krav Maga. Shout out to Thomas.
Ground karate.
Stop it. Who, by the way, Krav Maga literally translates into whip Clint's ass.
That is yes, it is
in Hebrew.
Yes, everybody knows that BJJ is
right.
ground karate. I was just kidding.
Right.
Just making a joke.
Totally. Until you get like Americana'd, Clint. Somebody hands, here's your arm and shoulder, Clint, for that ground karate. But T, I do remember that. So Andy, what Thomas may not remember, he probably does because he's like an encyclopedia of stuff. And we were just talking about touring actually together. Thomas got to come out when I was on the Born to Lose tour. If you've ever seen Chips, the guy that replaced, John when he went off the show and it was like all about Poncherello and some other blonde guy. I was basically that guy, the replacement guy that nobody knows. Who the fuck's this guy? Where's John? I was the replacement for my best friend Kevin that was a badass guitar player. I was like got called up from the Bush Leagues to play lead guitar and woodshed.
You were like, if anybody wants to know, I've been eating chocolate covered coffee beans, and it keeps me amped up. Woo! So that's what the hell do you keep eating stuff? It's almost like somebody who checks his texts while he's doing this. Dude, you were like when the Dukes of Hazzard had the cousins that came in.
The Duke cousins.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I was like the other chick that wasn't Chrissy that replaced Chrissy on Three's Company. But anyway, so and I...
Thomas, I don't know if you noticed in the link, but Shane is interested in Krav Maga. Please send him a link. Just add it to the comments of it here, and he'll... or y'all can PM each other or whatever. But we'll do a good plug for Thomas, because Thomas is the man. And for those who don't know what Thomas I'm talking about, you see him on here. He's been on several episodes. We like to... talk shop about Picard and various other fun things. So my buddy Thomas, known as T-Bird, to the Clint Baker show. He's a Krav Maga dude. Share your stuff. Anybody practitioner, teacher, badass. Anybody? Yeah. Y'all do your thing in the comments. Let's keep talking. I don't mean to interrupt you, D.
No, man. No, like shout out to T. Yeah, we were on tour together. And it was the part of the Born to Lose tour that was after the Bad Boys for Life. We went from a bus, what they call a nightliner over there, where it's like way cooler than the American buses, because up top is like those sleep ships that they had for real bands on Warped Tour. It's all bunks in a back lounge, and downstairs looks like some kind of fancy dinner car in a badass train. It's like when I got on tour with Born to Lose out there, I was like, what are you doing? This is this is like the highest level thing that I've been
ever seen.
Yeah. We're in a dining car of a fancy, like where the bougie people sit in a train.
So it's like they're touring in a bar. Basically, they're like hanging out.
It's like a lounge on a Prevo, like when we play Xbox with Face to Face.
Yeah.
It's like a lounge on a Prevo, but then you have this cool like clear fridge to open that's like, and like, it's hard to describe.
It sounds like a train dining car.
It looks like a dining car with badass TV and stuff like that. But anyway, we went to a Sprinter van. This is before Sprinter vans were super popular touring in the U.S., so I'd never toured in a Sprinter van. Our driver, Andy, and Thomas, keep me honest here, what was the name of the band Andy was in, deserves a shout out. They're a German band, but Andy was the driver, and he was in tight with the booking company, City Rat. Andy was about to lose his license. This was basically like his last. He had driven drunk a couple of times, and you get like, they're like way cooler about it in Europe than they are. You can't smoke weed and drive, but if you get caught drunk driving, they're way cooler about it, at least at this time. Maybe they've tightened up on it. Andy had lost his license, but hadn't physically had to turn it in yet.
Oh, well, I've heard that now, like at least now, I don't know how it used to be. There's some countries you lose your license for life. I
think that eventually happens in Germany, but it didn't. It was basically like when you're on that time before you have to report to prison, that driving style. So he was driving like a bat out of hell. He's like, I do not care. I've lost my license already. Who gives a shit? And he was talking about like one time he was like, there was a guy who's like, nobody gets my camera. Like maybe this gypsy stabs me in the neck and we fight to the death, but I don't give up my camera. He let the battery die because we were like, I don't know what. We're, partying like Vikings. We had eaten like goulash for the 30th time. But Slovenia was awesome. But the battery died, so we were like, oh my God, we're gonna be stranded in Slovenia. That's like almost Russia. But I don't know if you remember, T, but people were actually doing that like almost like clogging. Like there's this, guy with long hair and a big beard. He looked like the dude from System of a Down. He was like clogging to like Born to Lose. It was like pretty awesome.
I got a couple of Thomas things. He says, look. I can't even say that word.
Dude, Thomas.
Ljubljana was on the Sunday, I think, and it was in an old Soviet military camp. That got old Soviet military camp that got turned into an art school.
They turned it into an artist community. T's right.
And then he said Safety First Gonzalez on another comment.
Yeah. Safety First Gonzalez is what the band. Shout out to Safety First Gonzalez, Andy, singer, guitar player.
Then there's another comment that says he was partying and listening to Blood for Blood.
Yeah, that's right. And Ben was doing his Blood for Blood Punch the Roof dance that he always did, the Blood for Blood.
It
But
was his night off.
yeah, totally. This is his night to rage, and he could smoke the weed pretty good with anybody, and he could. And then, dude, we played like soccer in this artist community. It's beautiful, dude. The people
Ljubljana was the name.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good on you, Thomas. Like, the community was beautiful. They turned this like really like Spartan looking, like almost like bivouac looking place into an incredible artist community. I think there was something about Austin or Texas there, maybe even. We like freaked out about it, but it was rad. It was like everything was painted or a sculpture. It had these open courtyards. The venue was really cool, really small stage, but the venue was really cool. The people were incredible. We stayed there overnight. The sleeping place. We go now to the sleeping place. Yeah. The sleeping place was awesome. It was legit.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's fun. You know, it's weird when the sleeping place, like,
Yeah.
in the U.S. you have to find somebody's floor to sleep on. Or you find a hotel, or you
Yep.
find a place. But in Europe, it's it's part of the deal. Like
Yeah.
like the promoter, they get you a place to stay.
It's like almost, some of them are almost like barracks.
Yeah.
They've got like bunks, and it's pretty cool.
It's cool. There's comedy clubs here that do that. They'll have like a comedy apartment or comedy room for in the United States. So like the comedians can stay in there. But yeah, over there that's pretty common. Otherwise, if they don't have a place like he was saying that are like barracks, which
Yeah.
that's the best. If you're like, dude, I don't feel like hanging out anymore, you just go up the stairs at the club and there's barracks upstairs. You just stay on the.
Subway to Peter. Did you guys play there?
I don't remember.
It's like in Chemnitz, maybe? I don't remember, but it's in the eastern part of Germany, but they have it literally looks like a punk rock barracks.
That's
Like
badass.
if you're in a punk rock army, like the Tiger Army lives there. You know what I mean? It's like a punk rock barracks. It's pretty cool.
There's a lot of cool clubs that we've stayed at
Yeah.
that in Nowhere Bound, like when I've been over there. But it's pretty crazy. What's also weird is it always seems to be on the highest floor.
Yeah, it's a walk up.
Yeah, every time they're
Yeah.
like there's all these old buildings that don't have elevators, and you're like, cool, all right, cool, we're going to the sleeping place, and it'll be like a 6-story building, and you have to go up 6 flights of stairs,
Did you
and I'm
guys ever
like, you never get the first floor ever, or the second floor. It's always like the very top.
Did you guys ever sleep with that lady in Prague, or would you always stay at Chi-Chi?
We stayed with Chi-Chi's buddy. I can't think of his name right now. Damn it, 'cause I'm a jerk. I can't think of his name. I'm having
He
brain
came to visit
fart.
us. I know what you're talking about.
No, I don't know if you know him.
Huh.
The guy I'm talking about. Really cool dude. He was making socks, and we would stay with him. Old punk rocker dude. He's a
Cool, man.
really good guy. But yeah, and he's on the top floor too. But yeah, there's the two times that I've been over there. We stayed at his house, and then and that's in Prague.
Right on.
What's your favorite city over there? That's a hard one because there's a
In,
lot in Europe.
In Europe, so I like, my wife's from Bavaria, and I like Nuremberg. I like Eltmann, and but the place I played that I liked a lot, probably one of my favorite. Let's go by country. So in Czech, probably Budweis, where Budweiser comes from.
Oh yeah, that's a great city.
Yeah.
České Budějovice.
That's right.
It's a great town.
Great club. Prague is amazing, and there's that club where it's like 3 different clubs in a club. They're like, it's like one room. They're like dancing like the scene from Blade before blood like drops from the ceiling. It's like Prague's a weird place.
It is.
It's like a movie. You know what I mean? It really is.
And it has that goth vibe too. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if you
Yeah.
walked into a place filled with vampires. You'd be
I liked Cologne, or as the Germans call it, Köln.
like an Anne Rice novel or
Yeah.
something. It's like
Cologne's pretty badass. I mean, it's hard to beat Berlin Wild at Heart, right?
yeah, that was
That's
really
like-
cool.
If anybody has ever been to the glory days of like Headhunters, Wild at Heart is like that times 2 or 3, where it's like it has that vibe where like
They closed down, dude.
Wild at Heart closed
Yeah.
down. That's terrible.
Super shitty. That's like CBGB's. For
Best-
those who don't know, that's like
Yeah.
CBGB's closing down. It's
It was really
fucking
rad.
bullshit.
If you're vegan, they had a restaurant that's kind of was in cahoots with them that you get like a little meal ticket and it was incredible. You could have great food, or you could be like me and go around the corner and for a little €2 piece you can get one of the best donors, the best doner
Oh, yeah.
kebab that there is. I like mine sharp. I like mine spicy.
What is it? Is it sharp? Is
Sharp
spicy?
means spicy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, I like Prague.
T, say something about the donors. Come on.
T was said a couple things.
Shout out to the Greek, by the way.
Praha.
From Dusseldorf, the Greek who gave me my first doner kebab I ever had. It was me, Ben, Ballard, and Benji, and the Greek. And we stopped the cab, and he's like, "You must have a doner
the Greek.
now."
What's Greek's name? What's his name?
Dude, I'm spacing.
I went to his house.
Yeah, he's rad.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of weight. He looked really good about
Yeah.
3 years. Dude, it's probably 4 years ago now.
Sans fair tickets. Mighty Bar Velblood.
Velblood, the
Yes.
Mighty Bar. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, T.
Cross Club Prague.
Yep.
Mexicaners. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mexicana.
Yeah, Mexicaners.
Which, by the way, is basically like salsa and some kind of weird vodka.
It's a baby Bloody Maria with vodka in it.
Yeah.
Is essentially what it is. They're great. I love them. I love Bloody Marys though. Doner kebab. Sandy Fair tickets. Shane says missed you at Mike Truth's party.
Oh, yeah, Shane, I did miss you.
Benji and Ben were there.
Yeah, Shane, I came early before anybody got there, and I helped get all the ice with Mike and some of the beverages. And me and Mike hung out for about 2 hours. I couldn't get away because of the kiddos, but I actually just talked to Truth yesterday. He's doing really good. We talked about old times, talked about backroom times. T, get in on that backroom time. Shout out to Good in the Sack.
Yeah.
It was like we used to. I mean, that place paid my bills for a long time.
I was
The back room.
No, yeah, I was talking to Thomas about that last time. I was asking him what his favorite show was, and at first I thought he was talking about the back room, but he was talking about Flamingo Cantina.
That's pretty cool too.
And it was their first show was with
Wow.
us and Shaft.
Yeah, dude, I think I remember that,
Yeah.
Thomas.
But the back room, the back room shows were awesome. Like I love going. I've been to Emo's a couple times for a few concerts.
It's cool, but
But what I love is I'm looking at the stage, and then I look over to the left at the bar, and then I see the pole,
yeah,
and I'm like, "That's the pole!" I love seeing that pole because it's like it could have just torn it all down and like completely wiped it out, but I feel like there's still a memory of the back room. It's just a nice little reminder, you know. I always want to go, you know, sign the pole and give it a hug, you know.
Hug it.
Give Ben my best, says Shane. Missing Digits Shaft gets in Riddlin Kids.
Dude, Shane, Three's away is still doing the damn thing. So you can get your bin ballad fix.
Yeah.
No sweat.
Yes, sir. Dude, in Prague, there is this...
First time I drove in Europe was in Prague. It was a bad experience. It's like hard to drive. Italy's the worst, but Prague is a close second.
I bet, dude, when I was in... what is Italy? What's the town in Italy?
Riva de Gard?
No, it's like a big town. And not Rome.
Dude, Thomas, Riva de Gard. Remember that?
I'm having a brain fart. I'm caffeined out. Anyway, yeah, like it reminded me of like Star Wars or something. Like
Yeah.
like jets. There could have been jets and cars
Yeah,
going.
dude.
Like it was.
It's like Mexico City. They got it figured out, but anybody else going there,
yeah, and
probably doesn't get mopeds zipping by.
It was my first time there too, and at the time, this was 2010. Like I'm walking around, this guy's like, iPhone 4. You want iPhone 4? Come to the
Buddy,
alley.
come
Hey,
here.
but come to the alley.
Yeah.
Come to the alley. iPhone 4. Come. And I was with my ex-girlfriend. She was like, she grabbed my arm. She's like, we are not going up. I'm like, get the iPhone 4. Like, yeah, no, we're not going over there. That's how you get rolled.
That's right.
Yeah, but no, we in Prague one time. My friend Sasha,
Mm-hmm.
she took us to this club, and she's like, "Come on!" And I'm going to order a beer, and we walk in, and there's like it's happening, and she's like, "No, not yet. Come down," and then we go down long hallway and go down, and then and there's another room with another bar, and I'm like, "Cool, I'm gonna go." No, not yet.
That's
Come on.
Be the crossbar.
And we keep going, and we keep going down, and it was like, and then we keep going, and we're going down, and there's another, no, not yet. We get all the way down, and finally at the very bottom, and then we're like at this thing, and it feels like cold and like clammy because we're underground at this point, and we ordered, and they had like Sun Records, like 50s music playing.
Nice.
And like I'm drinking beer, and we're in this dungeon, and there's people like smoking in there, and somebody talked about weed, and they were like, and they literally brought a silver platter.
Yeah.
And like here, and we're like, you can do that here, and it's like we're so far under the ground that nobody knows, and Natchet, who's a firefighter, he's like, dude. I look up, he's like, dude. If there's a fire in here, we're all gonna fucking die. Because we were so far down in like narrow hallways and stuff.
Go out like great white.
We're all gonna die down here.
Right.
But yeah, it was pretty funny. He's like, I'm not gonna think about that right now. Let's just have fun. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, there's a place in Warsaw, Poland, that you play that's like that. It's all the way underground.
That's crazy.
I forget the name of the club.
I still haven't been to Poland. Poland's cool.
Poland's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
It's like got a little bit of like Czech vibe about it, but it's got its own thing going on. It's very westernized in a way. It's not as resistant to like Western ideas as like Germany or Czech, where they're kind of like not mistrust it, but they're like, we do our own thing here. And Poland, you walk through a shopping mall you got to go through the mall to get to a grocery store.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was rad.
Yeah, it is kind of cool.
Yeah, talk about impulse buys. I do want some shoes before I get a sandwich.
Yes, at Hot Topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we got any more comments.
Wow, man, it took us this long to reach a lull in the conversation.
Yeah, we hit a lull. It was
one hour. Comfortable. It was a comfortable silence.
1 hour and 18 minutes.
It's like we're old partners, just like sharing a moment.
I just had to breathe. That was all. It was a triple corn dog night.
Yes,
triple corn dog.
Thomas, did you just say triple corn dog?
Yes.
Do you guys know what that is?
I know what it is. That's when you make the money, right?
Yeah. Well, what that comes from comes from like Semi-Pro, the movie where like they're like, if you get this like shot, you get free corn dogs for life. Well, we were watching like in the Sprinter van, we were watching we were watching that, and like when they make what are you talking about? We don't even have corn dogs. Like, what are you talking about? Corn dogs for life. We don't even have corn dogs. So like that became, if you made this much in merch, you did corn dogs, right? So that started being the thing, and Thomas can sling merch with the best of them. So
triple corn dog.
Triple corn dog night.
It says
that's right.
BTL sold oodles of merch. I'll never forget. Can I get this in a medium? Me. I have an XL only. Sure, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Triple corn dog.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we were playing with Rot City Riot as the support band. It was really cool. We played a couple of like off the beaten path spots. The college town that I cannot pronounce in Czech. That was really cool. We played with some super old school British, like almost metal punk band.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was like pretty rad.
Cool.
Yeah, I came back from Europe my first time eating pork and drinking bubble water. I hadn't eaten pork in like 25 years probably.
Yeah.
Or beef. And it's like the pork is very pervasive in Germany, less so than beef. And Wiener Schnitzel, bratwurst, everything you can think of, currywurst, everything you can think of is like pork based, a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
So I like ate it. I ate like Schweinebraten. I came back like eating pork. It was the weirdest thing. I hadn't eaten pork and not even bacon, and like all the time you knew me.
It was just green beans.
Green beans and chicken, lean chicken. Remember when I make my prison meal? I had like a George Foreman grill. I would get those like frozen, chicken breasts with rib meat and like green beans. I thought I was eating healthy. I was probably eating the worst starch you could possibly put in your body. Can of green beans, can of corn, and wasting away.
Ugh. I was gonna tell No, I'm not gonna tell that one.
No.
I was gonna tell it when Billy had the sidekick. It was texting you, but we're not.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not gonna get into that one.
Yeah, Billy was special, man. I hope somebody knows who I'm talking about. I think he's from Huntington Beach. Asshole Billy is the handle he went by. I just don't remember his last name right now, but he's
Yeah.
a special dude.
Yeah, he was awesome. What was y'all's most awkward talking to famous or not famous bands? How did you deal with meeting heroes or people you knew about?
I would freak out. Like do
Do you remember
like Chris Farley on like when he interviews Paul McCartney? Do you remember that time? Like
Dude.
I'd just be like stupid.
Do you remember when we the first night we played with Face to Face? Dustin and I both loved
Oh,
Face to
God.
Face,
It was a
and
dream.
yeah, it's like one of the favorite bands, and they were standing behind us while we were playing, and
Yeah.
I'm like, we were start our show first night, and then we look over like, holy shit, they're watching us play. Like I didn't expect to see. Like we've been on several tours, and a lot of times you don't see the headlining band for a while.
Yeah.
They were out there the first show watching us play, and we're like, holy crap. So that was awesome. And then afterwards, they were super cool, and they were like, hey, if you guys, anytime you guys want to come hang out on the bus, you're more than welcome. They're like, Sundays we have Sopranos night. You like Sopranos? I'm like, hell yeah. He's like, dude, come on up on the bus. You're free to come over and watch Sopranos with us, but no talking. You don't talk. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, man. And he's like, no, I'm serious. If you're going to talk, then don't fucking come on our bus. I'm like, whoa, dude, relax.
Yeah.
It's like, I won't talk. And I never went and watched. I love Sopranos, but I never went and watched Sopranos. But they're like, no, we take that serious. No talking during Sopranos.
They're pretty all right, man.
They
And
were great.
then,
They were super nice.
Yeah, they were super nice. That was awesome. We met, and then later his son wore our shirt on their show on MTV. But we met Dee Snider when he had his radio show, right? And it was at in Poughkeepsie at the Chance in Poughkeepsie. Widowmaker, his band after Twisted Sister, basically like kind of quasi solo project, was playing in the big room, and we were playing in the small room. Before we played upstairs, it was like the small room that we played with the Used, and like damn, I forgot the name of the punk rock band that always played with Born to Lose that had I forget. Anyway, we played at a snack bar one time there, and we were playing we're on Snack Patrol. We were playing the small room, and he was sitting at the bar. He's like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah. I have a radio show." I was just like, "Oh my god," because I remember being like, I don't know, 11 years old. We're not going to take
Who
a
was
video.
it? Oh, Dee Snider?
Yeah, Dee Snider. And then later,
Mm-hmm.
when we were touring with Mest and we had a bus, Mest comes on the bus, and I was in a band. I am still in a band, and forever will be in this band called the Stummies, where we play terrible versions of all your favorite 80s songs.
Oh, yeah.
And Mest comes on the buses, goes, "Does anybody know how to play We're Not Gonna Take It?" And it was like one of those only times, where I stood up and was like, "Why, yes, I do know how to play We're Not Gonna Take It." I taught them that, and they said, because we've got to be on stage in 10 minutes, and Dee Snider's gonna sing with us. So I got to play on stage with Dee Snider, We're Not Gonna Take It, and Dave Keel. You can still find it on the internet or whatever, but halfway through, you can see I'm like shitting my pants and like freaking out, like really super nervous. I'm not moving, which is like in Riddlin Kids, like I always move around. I'm not moving. And you can see like halfway through it, I'm like, I'm going to fucking pull this off.
Dude.
This is happening.
Dee Snider goes, and Dustin's playing. He's rocking.
Yeah,
and
finally I start
and
loosen up a little
Dee
bit.
Snider goes up to him, and this is Dustin right here. Dee Snider goes up to him and like gets in with the mic and gets in his face and puts his forehead on his forehead, and it's like, and Dustin is playing. He's like, "We're not gonna take," like he is just rocking hard.
I think it could only be topped by Milo singing Bikeage with me, or if I was singing Low Self Opinion with my shirt off with Henry Rollins. Those are the only things that could possibly top that moment.
Yeah,
in my mind, in the
you were
pinnacle.
stoked.
Because I was such a mullet kid forever and ever and ever.
And you know what's cool is his son wore our shirt on their reality show. That was pretty cool. His son liked our band.
And he was kind of a fan too. I mean, we had some like surprising fans like Liberty DeVito.
We were kind of a big deal, guys.
Yeah, from Billy Joel, drummer for many years, not playing with him anymore, but Liberty DeVito, shout out to Liberty DeVito.
Yeah.
like would come see our shows, and his daughter would come see our shows in Orlando House of Blues, and it was rad meeting people like that. The most awkward time. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say Liberty with DeVito was badass.
So cool.
Super nice
Yeah,
dude.
I love Dave. Dave is like, I'm always like fighting above my weight class with the people I play in a band with. And Dave, I probably had no business being in a band with Dave. It's cool. He let me be in his band. I think I came along as like baggage. But like every musician always locked on to Dave. Oh, your drummer's awesome. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, come play all of the B-side to Justice for All with me. And Dave could do that, peel it right off. But the most awkward time I met somebody, or almost met somebody, is we had several songs on Regis and Kathy Lee and Regis and Kelly, and we actually got, paid pretty good, EMI Publishing for it.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Well, we played.
Speaking of shout outs and Reg.
Yeah, shout out to Reg, R.I.P. Sorry, Regis.
Sorry, Reg.
He had a good run though, man. He had a great run.
Finish your story and then tell them that the was it in Atlantic City or was it Atlantic?
It was Vegas.
It was Vegas. It was
and Ray who was guitar teching for us.
Was it where the joint
just lost John Reese $10,000 in craps?
It was where the joint is, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's the Hard Rock Casino is where that was.
Well, was it the Hard Rock Casino or was it Mandalay Bay that time?
I don't know.
It might have been the Hard Rock Casino.
Hard Rock Casino is where the joint was. Go ahead.
I'm like walking up. I see Regis, and I'm like, Regis, like that. I want to tell him, thank you so much for having our song on your station, and it paid my bills, and thank you for having it on our show, and we really appreciate it. I'm a fan of your show. My mom wants your show. I wanted to say all those things, but he saw me, that I recognized him. He was with two bodyguards, and he goes, ding, and shuts the doors on me.
It's like, Regis, blah, blah, blah.
And I was going up to our hotel room. We had a pretty swank hotel room. Probably not as high up as the Reg, and he's just like, saw me and was like,
you know what that story reminds me of?
Push the button.
That reminds me of the story where Curly,
that's a good story.
Curly, a friend who was teching for Lit and Zebrahead, good buddy of ours. He's a great dude. One time he got on an elevator and with Don Henley from the Eagles.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, aren't you? And he's like, yes. He's like, aren't you Don Henley? Yes. And so he's like, okay, Dick, is what Curly's thinking. And he farted on the elevator and he walked off the elevator. Yeah. I was like, all right. And he stopped and he let one go in the elevator and then he walked off. And as the doors were closing, Don Henley caught a whiff. He's like, and the doors were closing and Curly heard him say, Dick. Oh, it's such a good one.
Shout out to Curly.
Shout out to Don Henley. Hashtag Don Henley fart. Yes. So you were telling another story, and then I derailed you onto the Reg.
I don't even remember.
Because you said something about Regis and Kelly.
I think that was it. I was going to bring up the Regis and Kelly.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Well, cool, man.
That was pretty dope. We got really lucky with our interactions. Everybody, dude, Mighty Boss Tones.
Yeah.
Dickie from Mighty Boss Tones might be the coolest interaction. Super cool dude. We won't tell all the stories, but just suffice it to say, very generous guy, very sweet guy. Took us under his wing,
Yeah, he was super cool. Dude, that one time he showed up to Denny's, remember?
Yeah. I was like,
were you there?
Oh yeah, he paid for everybody's meal at Denny's.
Yeah, well, we're sitting at a table and he showed up because he found out we were going to be at Denny's, and he walks in, and you see him walk in the front door, and he disappears. Where did he go? Where's Dick? Where did Dickie go? And he disappeared, and I got up to go look, where? And then I see him walking out of the kitchen. He just when you're the singer of the Boss Tones, you just walk right into the kitchen. So he just went in there hey, can you give me some cup of coffee and some blah blah blah.
Totally.
I guess he didn't want to mess around because he got there late. He wanted to make sure and got his food. But
dude, I can't. If we bring up
and then he dropped some money and paid for everybody. So that was pretty cool.
We can't bring up Dickie without bringing up their bass player Joe.
Joe was awesome,
and he ran for a lot of years at Warped Tour, Jolt and Joe's Coffee or something like that.
Jittery Joe.
Jittery Joe's.
Yeah.
But he had a band called Avoid One Thing. They're an amazing band.
Super awesome.
I wore their shirt on one of the TV appearances we had. and or maybe it was only a sticker on the guitar. But anyway, their band was amazing, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the Bouncing Souls song that's like "Lean on Sheena, she leans on me a lot." That is a Avoid One Thing song. That like
did they cover that
dude,
song?
That's they covered that Avoid One Thing song.
I already knew. I knew Avoid One Thing sang "Lean on Sheena."
Dude,
but does Bouncing Soul use that
and
song?
A lot of the best Boss Tone songs were co-written with Joe.
Yeah,
and they're like
the Knock on Wood song.
I think he was in
is one of them.
Gangrene or Lawnmower Death. I can't remember. It's like escaping me now. Your brother would know, but that guy Boston scene. Amazing.
That's like remember the
Joe is such a sweet, gracious guy, and so is Dickie.
The Fast Way song.
Yeah.
Remember going to Dave from Flogging Molly was in Fast Way.
Yeah, which is you probably don't know this, but you probably think it's a Motley Crue song, but there's a song that's like say what you will and you will. And they're rad. They're like if you mix like Led Zeppelin and Motley Crue, and that's shitty to say.
Kind of glammy a little.
They were cooler than Motley Crue. They're proto that sound, but he was a young dude singing for. And Fast Eddie, I think I could be wrong, and there's probably some people going, "You're such a hack," shitty pop punk.
Whatever, dude. Fuck all those people.
But I think Fastway started because it was like something Way was his name and Fast Eddie, and I think and I hope Dave's on here, and I hope he reprimands me viciously.
Yeah, that's not even how it goes. All we know is it was a kind of a glammy kind of band from a little before our time.
Pretty legit.
But they went up to the singer of Flogging Molly. We played this show with Flogging Molly in Arizona. It was for The Edge. It was Edge Fest. We were on a side stage, and I remember it rained really bad. The sky turned purple, and they had to cancel the show. Like they started playing, but they had to stop the show because the stage started blowing. Like when
Lady Antebellum style.
Yeah, like
gonna kill somebody.
Exactly. Like and the thing started rocking. I'll tell you later because I don't want to get canceled. But just remind me of Lady Antebellum.
Yeah, dude. Every time I say something, it's like Clint has known me for a lot of years, and even when I was a sweetheart of a person, I would watch a TV commercial, and the most evil things would come out of my mouth, and I'm like, I just know that once I start doing these podcasts, I'm gonna say something that's just like
it's an innocent meme that I saw on. Regular Facebook, but again, I don't need a recorded.
Don't do it, dude.
Times are too sensitive at this point in time to be saying bad stuff.
That's right.
So we're not going to say bad things. We're going to talk about fun things, like the time they went up to the guy for Flogging Molly, and they were like, "Hey, would you sign my CD?" And he's like, "Absolutely." And he goes to sign the CD, and he gets the CD, looks, and he realizes it's a Fastway CD. His old band, not Flogging Molly, and he was like, I don't imagine he was embarrassed. It was just kind of like
it was like a gotcha
moment. Type of thing.
Me and Dave Keel.
Yeah, and Dave had the Fastway CD, and so he wrote "Fuck you, Dave." So I don't know if he was saying "Fuck you, Dave," or if he was just saying "Fuck you, here's my name, Dave." But yeah, it was pretty. I always thought that story was pretty funny. There was a funny story.
Most awkward time for you meeting a famous person? Morgan Freeman.
Oh. We ain't going to Wyoming to shoot canteens, goddammit.
Were you out there when he
Yeah, we all were.
Yeah.
I wrote a song about it.
Yeah.
I was doing vocals in Studio B, and Dave ran through the door and said,
Shout
"Hey,
out to Vegas Bomb."
Yeah.
Shout out to
and said the Clint Baker Jr. Orchestra featuring Dave Keel and Herman Mendelcheck.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Morgan Freeman came in and was talking to our producer's son, who was like 16, and he was like, well, "So what do you want to be when you become a real person?"
Yeah,
and we're like, "What the hell does that mean?" Yeah,
that's so deep.
That's so weird. And so I guess that was his way of saying, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" But it was really strange. And somebody was like, "Dude, freaking Morgan Freeman's out in the lounge." So we just dropped the record. We're like, "Okay, stop recording. Let's go." So we ran out and to meet him. And Tyler
Tyler,
yeah. Tyler had a hot rod out there, and so he was like, "Hey, it's a nice car," and Paul was like, "Hey, Mr. Freeman," and
was it a Roadrunner or GTO? I can't remember.
I think it was a Roadrunner. I thought it was a Super B, but I'm pretty sure it was a Roadrunner. And some 60s car. It was badass. And so, yeah, he came out there and like was staring at the car, and then Paul started talking to him. Paul was a big time producer. He's used to talking to famous people, and I was just a deer in headlights. We were all kind of standing out there quiet and letting Mr. Freeman talk. And then he left, and he's like, "Cool, all right." So they talked for a second, and then Mr. Freeman starts walking off to go get in his BMW, and then before he left, he goes, Paul goes, "Bye, Mr. Freeman," and he goes, "Bye now," and then got into the car and took off. And that was pretty cool. That was pretty neat.
That's pretty rad.
Another funny one is when I met Mark Hoppus at Warped Tour, and I go up to him, and this is before Riddlin Kids started touring and doing our thing.
Yeah.
But we played the Ernie Ball stage in San Antonio, outside of San Antonio, and I go up to him with our old CD, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I just wanted to meet you. We played the Ernie Ball stage. I'm Clint. I'm in a band called Riddlin Kids. Here's my CD." He's like, "Oh, thanks." Those guys would receive 1 million CDs.
Yeah.
Like they were. This was the peak. This is right when they were on Warped Tour. Eminem was on with them, The Living End, and I think somebody else. Anyway, they were huge.
Ice-T.
Yeah, this was right when they had like a huge, they were just blowing up, and so anyway, it was like, yeah, and he's like, "Oh, thanks, man," and I was a perfect victim. He's like, "Oh, thanks." He's like, and rather than kind of blow me off, and I was in the VIP area, he's like, "You want to see a magic trick?" And I'm like, okay. And his friends are like, I'm like, "Oh shit, here we go." Sure, man. And so he's like, "All right, well, picture a card in your mind. Picture this card. I bet you I can pull this card out of my pocket." Okay. And I'm like, all right, the ace of spades. I got this. All right. He's like, "All right. You got the card, right?" "Yep." "Okay." And he pulls a card out. And he turns around, and it's a naked dude with a boner on the card. He's like, "Oh God, this is what you're thinking about." And the other guys are like, "Ah!" And I was like, and I just walked away.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was bad. It was funny.
Dude, your Slash story is pretty good.
Oh, Slash, yeah. I
would have given Clint's right arm to meet Slash, but
you weren't there. You weren't there, weren't you?
I wasn't I didn't get to. We were at the Rainbow, but I didn't get to meet Slash.
And Mark and Jay were at the table with me.
Oh, cool.
And somebody I knew.
Shout out to Jay.
Jay Kajek. Somebody I knew that from Austin was there, and I went off and I was talking to them and for a little bit, and I go back to the table, and they're like, "Dude, you missed it." I'm like, "What did I miss?" They're like, "We just took a shot with Slash." I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, we just took a shot with Slash." And I was like, "Oh, you're kidding me." It's like, "Yeah, why didn't you come get me?" And they're like, "Well, he was walking by, and we just said, 'Hey, man, you want a shot?' So we bought him a shot of whiskey. We all took a shot." So I was like, "All right." And so I'm kind of pissed that this happened, and I'm standing, and like a little later, I'm standing out front, in front of the club, and I'm standing out there, and all of a sudden I look over, and Slash is right next to me, and he's talking to somebody through the window of a car, and I'm like, "Holy crap!" So I pulled a cigarette out, and put a cigarette out, and and this is probably 2004. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
I put a cigarette in my mouth and acted like I didn't have a lighter, and so as soon as he got done with the car, I was like, "Hey, man, do you have a light by any chance?" He's like, "Oh yeah, no problem." Ching, the Zippo.
Yeah.
Ching, like a slow motion move in
Mr. Brownstone started playing when he popped it up. Here's my knocking.
No, last forever.
November Rain starts playing. You lock eyes with Slash.
All of a sudden, we were in the desert. The ground was all crunchy in a little church, and he just shing, and he lit my cigarette, and I was like, "Hey, thanks, man." And I walked away like he was nobody. And I didn't even say, "Oh, hey," or I didn't do anything. I was like, "Hey, thanks, man, appreciate it." And I just walked off.
Two awkward ones.
And he was like, "Dude, that was a singer for Riddlin Kids."
Yeah, he was like, "Holy shit." Yeah. I should have asked him for what card he was thinking of. But I met Nikki Sixx when and this is the first time we met Roger Jansen, actually. He wasn't our manager yet. We were with John at some weird fusion thing.
That was during South by. I was with you.
I couldn't think of what to say to Nikki Sixx. I was such a fan, so I'm like, you should really try the pad thai. We're at like this like fusion restaurant that had like Thai and other stuff. He's like, yeah, is it good? I'm like, it's good, man. You should try it. I was like, like kind of like walked off. I like couldn't think of what to say to him. And like later on, reading Heroin Diaries, I was probably close to getting beat within an inch of my life if I said the wrong thing to him at that certain time.
Dude, I think
I'm such a fan of that guy. I've said a couple more things to him, but I was like, again, Chris Farley, like, stupid. I was like,
I was telling that story the other day.
Yeah.
I think he was like, hey man, can you pass me those tongs?
Yeah.
Like it was like a buffet. It was like a total innocent, like.
It's pretty rad. And then the most awkward, I just realized.
He was really tall too.
Super tall.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Could super smash me. I looked like a greyhound back then too. But the most awkward, of course, is Rivers from Weezer.
Oh, that was really weird.
Super awkward. I tried to pass him a Cruiserweight CD, and he just like threw it down. So I proceeded to stalk him through a club, giving it to him again. And then I gave it to his guitar player, and I was like, hey, he dropped this. He was hanging on to it all night. I think he really wants it. But he was like super awkward, super socially, inept. Might have been on something.
They had like a weird room divider too that was like a bamboo thing and he was hiding behind it and like he was doing weird
peekaboo.
Like doing weird stuff and people are like, what the fuck is that guy doing over there?
Yeah.
They're like, that's a singer for Weezer. What the hell is his problem?
Who the fuck pulled his string on his sweater?
Is he watch it unwind as he walks away? Is he on acid or something? I don't know. That was weird. Yeah, but the last thing that Dustin did at the end of the night, I think you gave him that CD twice, and he left, and I got joined up with y'all, and you told me about that. You're like, dude, freaking dude, he keeps. And last thing he did, he threw the CD on the bar, and then I ran out and chased him, and I go, hey man, could you give this to Rivers?
That's right.
Yeah, and he's like, what? He's like, yeah. He left it in there. He's been holding on to this CD the whole night. He's like, really? Because at first he was like, oh, you're trying to get. I'm like, no, dude, I don't care about this band. I don't know these guys, but I just saw Rivers. He's been hanging on to this CD the whole night. Like he's gonna. And he was like, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you doing that. And it was like, yeah, and then he took the CD. So I can't imagine how awesome it was that you've been saying, hey, man. You forgot the CD. Hey, man. And then his guitar player walks up and says, hey, man, here's your CD.
Hopefully he gave it to him in his bunk while he was like, crying himself to sleep at night about the second Weezer record that was brilliant, but no one gave a shit about it.
Eating a cheeseburger.
Yeah, totally. And one time we met these one guys that were like named Bowling for Soup that were super dicks. Just kidding. They're our friends. We like that.
One time we met Wheatus.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I'm just got tickets to Iron Maiden.
I was super attracted to that girl singer until I found out it was a dude. I was like, fuck yeah, she likes Iron Maiden. I'm totally in. I'm like, oh, it's a dude.
We hung out with them at a bar in New York City and hung out until like 4 or 5 in the morning, like all night with those guys.
What do we got?
Thomas said, crying himself to sleep on a giant pile of money.
Totally, Thomas.
Yeah, totally.
Whatever.
Yeah, we were.
So.
That was a bitch fest about the label too. That Wheatus was pissed off.
Yeah.
And
we had like a huge label that just didn't really. They're huge, and they just didn't know you existed unless. Finally, you popped on their radar. It's like a lot of companies,
Yeah.
Probably fucking Nabisco doesn't know about the next fucking chip that somebody thought up. Like, no, this is like Cool Ranch, but it's like the new Cool Ranch. They're probably like, whatever, fuck you.
And if you're like new Lay's, Frito-Lay Rancheros, that's like a new spiral-shaped chip.
Yeah.
They're like, who the fuck is this?
Exactly.
We want the new Flaming Hot Fritos.
Yeah.
We don't. What the hell is a ranchero?
How about you just bring us more Fritos and don't write your weird stuff?
Like we have an Offspring.
Yeah, totally. We have an Offspring already.
We've got an Ataris.
They're like, get that corn out of my face.
Who are these guys?
Yeah. That hurts when they're like, pumping the Ataris and pulling your shit.
Dude, I'll never forget it. I went up. Y'all got super bitter because I got flown up to New York and y'all had to drive back from the Dallas Edge Fest.
Was that the time that maybe we would have worked with Tim Armstrong?
No, that's a different. We were gonna, we were gonna work with Tim Armstrong on some stuff, but
that would have been a dream.
That would have been awesome. But no, I flew to New York to talk to VH1 and MTV execs about them possibly using one of our songs off our second record for a show. It's gonna be a travel show that Cameron Diaz was gonna host.
Oh yeah.
And they were gonna travel all over the world.
Good Charlotte, eh?
Yeah, well, now, yeah. But I guess the show never happened, but they were going to do a show that would be on VH1, and they wanted to use the come on, let's get to it. And so, so we were like in the runnings for getting that thing. So they're like, Clint, we need you to
pitch this shit.
No, they were doing all the pitching, but they were like, we just need you to be charming and make them like you. And
have a pulse.
I guess, I don't know. I think if future me could have gone back in time on a lot of these situations and been like, look, dude, you need to crack a joke here. You need to do this. I was just kind of like deer in headlights because I'm like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I also didn't know how great some of these opportunities that we were getting were. Like, you just don't really know. And that's why everybody says, man, if I could go back and do it again, because now I was like, dude, we'd rule the world if I knew what I knew now.
It's hard to know. It's hard to know. And
it's weird.
That's Shane why I say, like, I wish I would have played ball more if I just would have, like, shut up half the time and not been concerned about, what direction it was going or who was managing us at the time. Because really, control of a situation like that is really more like a illusion. It's more like a facade because you're really actually like, when you go to Six Flags and you sit down in the ride and they push that thing back and it locks back and you couldn't get that thing off you if you wanted to, you're on the damn ride till the ride ends.
Yep.
So if I could have gone back, I would have enjoyed myself more if I was just like, let me learn as much as I could. And there was times where I was in a position in the band where I was in a quasi-management position. If I just shut my mouth and learned from these people that were or were not good stewards of what we were doing, there's still stuff to learn. And because I was like, to my own detriment, pig-headed and we're like,
dude, we all were. We all
have some integrity or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, dude. You got pulled up from the bush leagues from delivering pizza to play music.
We hornswallowed our way into where we are. That's right.
Yeah.
We couldn't get an indie. I was thinking about this too. We couldn't get an indie label to even return our calls, and then we're like, okay, well, F all you guys. We're going straight to the majors.
We literally tried every indie, and I actually had a relationship with Fearless. And I told Bob from Fearless, and I've been talking to the guy for years, and I'd gone to California to meet him and been stood up at the prom a couple of times. And like, after we got signed a major, they sent us a letter back that said, look, we're not really signing you guys, and we already signed Dynamite Boy.
We already signed your roommates.
And your stuff is really kind of derivative. It's really kind of like Dynamite Boy, and we're really just not into it.
Like, is that what Sean told you?
And then we played a showcase, and I knew Bob personally. And actually, my cousin's husband was on Fearless Records. Shout out to Tim. What's up, Tim?
Yeah, what's up?
If we could have worked with you.
From Sugar Cult.
Yeah, if we could have worked with you, maybe we wouldn't be sitting here in Clint's room doing a podcast right now.
That's right. Shout out to Sugar Cult.
That's right. Shout out to Neon Trees. Shout out to one of the best writers of our time.
That's right. We'll see you at Thanksgiving.
That's right. Yeah, see you at Thanksgiving, buddy. Yeah, I was like, he's like at the showcase that we're headlining and Dynamite Boy's on. He's like looking around at like the Sony execs. He's like, how the fuck did you do this? Like he told the minor labels did not like us or believe in us whatsoever.
Hey man, if you're not gonna give us time of day,
yeah,
we're gonna rock. If you're not gonna help us, then get out of the way.
We'll be the same douchebags no matter what.
That's right. Damn it, I was telling a story and I forgot what.
Sorry, dude, I do that too.
I do that too. No, but I can't remember what we were talking about, and I got derailed by Larry. The Tim Armstrong thing. We were going to possibly work on some music with him.
Is that our Larry?
Larry Hargrave in the house. Shout out to Larry.
Shout out to Larry.
And
shout out to the Phil Rudd of our time, Larry Hargrave.
And then Tim Armstrong, I think Rancid ended up with a tour that they ended up going to Australia, so we didn't get to work with
Larry. Can we spread this rumor to all 8 people that are paying attention to this right now? Is there in fact going to be a Born to Lose reunion?
There are 8 viewers right now.
Please let there be a Born to Lose reunion. I was just telling you're probably just joining, Larry, but I explained that when I joined Born to Lose for a short while, that I told you I felt like the dude that replaced John from Chips that nobody knew about, or like the chick that replaced Chrissy. I'm like, yeah, I'm the Jack, the doozer that replaced this guy, so they had to keep the TV show going.
Larry has not commented yet.
Larry's probably reserved because he's a law dog now. He's a lawyer. He's probably thinking of something judicious. Are we playing us?
Yes, this is going to cause a weird paradox in the
I like that.
time lapse continuum. I thought maybe if I got in front of the delay, I could maybe hear what I was talking about.
Oh, dude, that's smart.
I know, but I'm not that smart. I thought about it too slow.
Clint.
Yes, I remember now.
What is it?
Everyone's on board, Larry says.
Fucking sweet.
Riddlin Kids reunion show with Mest and Homegrown. I don't know if that's going to have... Thomas, he's smirking and preparing a legal statement. Who is smirking and preparing a legal statement?
He's talking about Larry because he knows Larry's the lawyer.
Oh.
Larry has his legal assistant prepare the legal statement, and then he signs it. He corrects it, and then he signs it, co-signs it.
Then Corona.
Oh, whatever, dude.
Yeah, miss you too, Larry Hargrave.
Dude,
Shane Ellum says.
I super miss you, Larry. I'm going to go ahead and learn all of Kevin's parts again, just so I can stand in the wings, and pine over, Once Upon a Time.
You can do the thing that Green Day and Alkaline Trio do, where they have the extra guitar player in the back
playing stage with them.
No, you're in the behind the curtain. You're behind the curtain.
Yeah.
You're like the wizard behind the curtain, playing all the rhythm parts. Man, I would love to have one of those. Then you can do whoa,
Totally.
do whatever, and it doesn't matter if you screw up or not. Oh, one more show.
Yeah, I secretly think Ben Ballard didn't like me in the band, even though Ben and I are really close.
He just didn't like you.
We're like nemesis, you know what I mean? We're like each other's nemesis.
You're like Peter Griffin and the chicken.
Totally. He's totally the chicken, by the way. I've raised my children to slay him if I don't survive the Ben Ballard nemesis.
If Larry gives you a compliment, it counts pre him being a lawyer. I always appreciate his honest opinions, says Thomas. We're going to just showcase that.
Well, Larry, I actually don't appreciate it unless you're flipping a table or jumping on top of one while you're saying it, because that's the only time I'll believe you.
One time.
Shout out to Showdown.
One time I was at Red Eye Fly, and Larry said, "Hey man," I was talking to Larry for about 30 minutes, and he's like, "Hey man, you're actually a pretty nice guy."
That's the only time I've ever felt guilty.
And I was like, "Thanks, dude." And then a week later, I was at Baby Blues. I was at Baby Blues, and Ben Ballard. I was playing darts with him, and then he stopped. He goes, "Hey man, you're actually a pretty nice guy." And I just said, "Larry, I've known you for 10 years." And then I was like, Dustin!
Yeah.
Dustin,
dude.
How did you tell our friends that I was a douche?
It was just, it was a
I was a douche, dude. I think I convinced them myself. I don't think you had to say anything.
It was the full court press of the smear campaign I had going for a couple of years.
Dude, I don't think you had to smear too hard. Yeah. What was it called? I shouldn't. How dare you bring me on TV? How dare you, sir?
How dare you disparage my name?
So going back to going back to New York. I go to fucking New York, right? And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, I gotta be cool. I gotta schmooze these people, and they start talking about Switchfoot. I got the head of rock radio, and the head of alternative, and the head of Aware Records, and then somebody else from Columbia Records, and they start talking about, well, if you give us some more Switchfoot plays and blah blah blah, and like, how did Switchfoot get hijack our meeting? And they were having a meeting what's supposed to be about us, and our people set this up, and they were great, and they were really trying to push for us. And those guys, the big dogs, start talking about Switchfoot because they're selling more records, and they hijacked the whole meeting. They're like, "Hey, well, we have the MTV people at our table. Let's go ahead and push for Switchfoot." And
that's when they also didn't know if we were going to be on Red Ink instead
of
Columbia.
And at some point in the middle of the dinner, I said, "I'm right here, guys." and because I got pissed, and I'm like, can we quit talking about Switchfoot? You know, and so I go, I'm right here, guys, and and then they were like, and then they got back to normal, and then they changed the subject for a second, and then went back to talking about Switchfoot. So and I about checked out at that point.
Yeah,
and then we went outside. And I saw the actress who plays Jean Grey in the old X-Men movies, the one who's from
yeah, she's hot.
Yeah, she walked right by, and and I was like, "Hey guys, did you see it? It's the Jean Grey actress." I couldn't. Like, they all rolled their eyes. They're like, totally. Texans.
This bumpkin.
Yeah. So anyway, that was an anticlimactic story, but
no, it's like they do that. Remember the South by Southwest where I lost my voice and I kept trying to say stuff and they just continued to talk over the top of me. I couldn't get anybody's attention. It was Paul and John and I think even Greg Latterman or whatever. It was like really funny. Yeah. I look back on that now and I wish I just had a
like, hey guys.
That's right. I was a complete douche. You think you're gonna be like, it's totally different than you think it's gonna be, and the sooner you come to grips with that, the better the experience you can have with it. And it sounds like a disappointment, and people that haven't been in that place go like, "Not me, man. I'll totally like tell them blah 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 blah." But fuck you. The people that have been in that place know that they would have been like, "Shut the fuck up, Dustin." Just like, you know, because you get your whole life to make your first record and about 18 months to do your second.
That's right.
And P.S., they don't give a shit about your second record.
I have to see what this sound is real quick, guys. Okay. I'm glad I looked that up.
I'm old. That's what sound it makes when I sit down now.
When you sit down, you get this.
That's when I can get back up.
Let's see what we got here. I'm not worried, Ben. You were meant. Oh, you were meant for so much more.
Oh, that's so funny.
I always like. I like that band. That pissed me off worse because I actually really like that band.
I like Jesus too, and they like Jesus, so we got that in common.
Phil Rudd of our time.
Who's that?
Backhanded but accurate. I'll take it. Phil Rudd. I don't know. Who,
you're kind of like the Phil Rudd of our time, and
who
I think
it's
what
Phil
he's trying
Rudd?
to say.
Paul Rudd?
Phil Rudd, the drummer for AC/DC.
Oh, gotcha.
It's not backhanded, Larry. If you want blood, you got it.
That's right.
Mo Falcon.
Damn.
That's me and Larry's. I don't know if that's still his favorite AC/DC song, but I promise you that's me and Larry's favorite AC/DC song together. He's like the Buddy Rich of our time. Okay, Larry? Is that what you're waiting for? You're waiting for me to say the two words, Buddy and Rich? I love you.
And Angie says, Dustin, you were always the sweetest.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking evil ass thoughts, Angie. You don't even know. I was like, when
evil
Anakin,
ass thoughts.
When Anakin kills all those Padawans, that was Dustin and the Riddlin Kids. All right, I wasn't quite Darth Vader, but I was there.
Sand. Like, Dustin hates sand.
Yeah,
he hates the sand. What else we got in the comments? Where are we at, dude? We're at 2 hours. I think this is the longest I've ever gone.
Well, should we do some black shirt stuff to like keep your black shirt people going? Like throw some nerd questions.
I'm gonna do some. The longest I've ever gone.
I heard you can go again pretty quick though. I've heard that about you.
Hey man, I'm going for quantity, not quality.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and have a.
I actually was hoping I'd be in Born to Lose with Larry before I was in Born to Lose with Benji. How's that, Larry?
Yeah. Hey, Chloe's barking.
That sounds good through the headphones.
Yeah, it does.
Sounds like one of your sound drops.
Well, guys, we're gonna cash out of here and get the heck out of here. And we got, dude, what secret band, local band, did y'all see that blew you away? Underrated. Well, I could tell you one time in at at the downtown of Long Island. We played an early show, and after the show, there was a band that was it was a Van Halen tribute band.
Oh, Joey Badona.
Yeah, and so we're like, dude, hell yeah, we're staying. And plus, we wanted to see how good they were. You know, I was like, you got a Van Halen guy, you got the guy sounded just like David Lee Roth, exactly. And then Dave was like, we'll see how he does next to Alex Van Halen, and he fucking killed it. He was badass. And so we watched them. They were phenomenal, and afterwards, they were out in the street, and the drummer was breaking his kit down out in the street, and I go up to the guy, I'm like, hey, dude, I played in the band earlier in the matinee show. We hung out, watched you guys. I just want to tell you, I love Van Halen. You guys were badass, and I was like, now our drummer is a badass drummer. Like he was like, oh, we'll see if how this guy plays, and he was blown away by you. He was like, dude, that guy's legit. He's a badass drummer, and then the drummer goes, you know Joey? And I'm like, huh? And he goes, you know Joey? I'm like, Joey who? And he's like, Joey Capadona. He plays drums for that Queen cover band. Now that's a good drummer. And I'm like, what? Joey Capadona. So, dude, rest of for the next 15 years, we've been, hey, fucking Joey Capadona plays drums for that Queen cover band. Now that's a good drummer.
Best local band that we eventually got to know, but the best local band I saw that I didn't know was Don't Look Down. When we first saw him,
I thought you were going to say Big Blue Monkey.
Big Blue Monkey, yeah.
No, I'm not.
Don't Look Down, man.
That became Story of the Year, and one of those guys was kind of snooty with us at a show, so at a Velvet Revolver show. So I went from, and they used to give us their CDs all the time. So we're like, all of a sudden. They blew up. I was happy for them. You know, they turned into Story of the Year, and then dude was kind of snooty. So I'm like, oh, I guess I don't like those guys if they're gonna be snooty.
Yeah, Don't Look Down blew me away the first time I heard them. They became Runner eventually, and Rhino, you know, and all those guys were in the band.
Don't Look Down was badass.
Don't Look Down was great. Yeah, I was like, this is crazy, and they're the perfect example of a band that just. I mean, they eventually, because of all his industry contacts, like took off and had great success with Runner, and Don't Look Down had some success too. But that was probably the local band that wasn't from Austin that surprised me the best. I moved to Austin because I saw 3 local bands. I saw Shaft open for Dynamite Boy, open for Fourth Grade Nothing, and that was the greatest show that got me to move here to Austin of local bands.
Dude, all those bands, like, we just thought, I think it made the cream rise, like,
yeah.
I don't say rise, like, it made you had to rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know this. We just thought that's how it was. Like, we all move here from small towns in Texas,
right.
And then you think, oh, that's just how it is. Like, you have to be badass,
right.
and prove to be as good as this other local band. We didn't know it. We got out into the world. There's a lot of shitty bands. I was like, I didn't realize. We had no idea that we had such a great scene in this town. Like, we just thought that was normal.
Austin's downfall is that it was spoiled.
Yeah, it was. Like, we had so many super talented, and it makes sense. This is like the art magnet of Texas. You know what I mean? So everybody moved to the big art town in Texas. You know, but it's like so many bad local bands, and that sounds rude to say, but I'm just saying compared to. If I like, he just did it a minute ago. He was like Fourth Grade Nothing, Shaft, you know, The Impossibles, Dynamite Boy. I mean, there's so many bands that were like fucking fantastic when we started playing shows here, and we had no idea that we were really, really spoiled. And so many other great bands that came after that too. But it's like, it's crazy.
I saw also a couple Born to Lose shows that were pretty much as good of any show I've seen. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to play the game where it's like, hey, make sure you include all the local bands.
I was just talking to Thomas about this. He can back it up. I was like, I think they might be one of my favorite bands.
They were fucking amazing. Like,
yeah,
fantastic. Gals Panic is another one. Yeah, I was like, Retarded Elf. I'm like, that's what I say. It's not even. I just did a couple like when we started out. There's so many good bands.
That was slightly before our time. Like, we were coming into our own right as like Impossibles and Dynamite Boy pretty much was pee-pee slapping everybody in town.
Yeah, and Fourth Grade Nothing was like right before I got here, and I saw like a reunion show or something.
They're really Gomez. I mean, don't sleep on Gomez. They're
Yeah.
like the fur.
I don't know if I ever got to see Gomez. I don't think I ever did.
I think you might have been with me when Gomez did then Halloween they would do the Misfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was badass.
Yeah, a lot of good shows.
Ooh, Dropkick.
Dropkick was a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Shout out to Addison. Shout
Yes.
out to Chainsaw Billy.
Yeah.
Right on. Felix.
The big boys. You want to go old
The
school?
big boys. Yeah. Dude, that changed my life a lot. Working with Chris Gates.
Dude, Chris Gates has a badass, really. Have you seen his
Yeah,
podcast?
you showed it to me.
Yeah,
I've watched
it's great.
it. Since
It's
then.
like
Super
positive mind, positive mindset, and like
Mhm.
just it's great. He's been doing working with recovery people in recovery and stuff, and just like I watched some of the stuff. He's such a well-spoken guy, and his stuff looks super pro, and it's really good. I wish I knew what it was called right now, but yeah, his stuff's badass. Crust. What about squat? Is that what they were called?
Shat?
Shat.
Are you talking about the
Dingleberries.
Yeah, are you talking about the guy?
Dingleberries.
What is he from?
Dingleberries.
Dillinger Escape Plan or one of
Where's
those
my
bands?
ass hair comb?
Yeah.
Where's my ass hair comb? Where's my ass hair
He'd
comb?
show up in a suit at South by and pass out his Come Sierra
Dingleberries.
showcase, and then people would go and he'd be in a helmet with dildo spikes on it
Oh boy.
in a diaper. Pretty awesome.
Thanks, Larry. Larry says we were the rad local he was into. Awesome.
Rad, Larry. I had so many good like side eyes with you at the showdown. It's like I miss those times.
Yeah. Shout out to the showdown.
Yeah. Shout out to the original Black Shirt Gang.
Yeah.
Before Your Black Shirt podcast.
Well, that's kind of what it's birthed
Right
from.
on.
Yeah. I think there was one time Mike almost got into it with somebody or something, and it was like somebody started some trouble with him.
Mikey.
Yeah, I don't want to out anybody publicly. I don't
yeah.
know if it's okay to say his name or not, but
I know what you're saying.
Chris's brother, and
Yeah.
and I think somebody was like,
are you
yeah, somebody was like, oh, what are you, the Black Shirt Mafia or
Yeah.
Black or something like that, and I always thought that would be
Yeah.
a good band name.
That is a good band name.
Yeah, we've Dustin and I have been shopping for band names for way too long.
I think it should be This Is the Way, but
Good in the Sack rocked.
yeah, man. Dude, Good in the Sack's one of those.
Missing Digits, duh.
Yeah. Is Steve still on here?
I haven't seen him on here.
Because
a minute.
Dave Keel used to always go, we had a song that's like, what do you want from me?
The
But-
Digits drummer, Steve.
Yeah, he'd sing that every time, man.
He's not on there.
Steve is a loyal, well-seasoned Stummies drummer, too. Who's a huge Motley Crue fan.
Oh, Toby and I are a wreath of good band names. Dude, well, bring it, man.
Yeah, prove it. No, I will not make out with you is already taken.
Oh,
so-
that's what it was. What are they, the Black Shirt Security?
Yeah, totally.
That's what it was.
Is that Larry saying
Yeah,
that?
Larry was like, that's what it was.
Yeah, Larry was like, he was, at times he was either the, Patrick Swayze from Roadhouse or the other guy from Roadhouse.
Steve said, love Dave. I'm going to highlight that.
We miss you, Steve. I think
Yeah.
about you every stomach.
What do you want from me? The Digits drummer, Steve.
Yep.
Every time he'd say that.
Bread Kiss, my favorite Missing Digits song, Steve.
Coke ZK Records.
Props to Koki ZK.
Ebon Flow.
No. Yvonne Flo.
That's how I found Yoy. Tamp Off. That's one of our old ones. We've
Yeah,
been talking
man.
about that one for years. Tamp Off that's actually on our list.
Sister Fister, all those ones that you would easily come to and think of me and Clint.
Mr. Sister, Fister, Blister. There's a
Yeah.
whole bunch. Paint My Taint with taint colored paint. That one's taken. Ebb on Flow. Blush. Thomas blushed. Yeah, I ran out of nitro, and then I'm getting sick of these coffee beans, so now I'm drinking matcha tea.
Yeah, matcha tea.
I'm gonna just snort some coffee beans.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw our Black Shirt podcast, but there was a shipment of coffee beans to in Italy that got found. They hollowed out the coffee beans and they put cocaine in the beans.
Whoa,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the reason they got caught was because the name on the package was the name of a crime boss from John Wick 2.
Really?
Yeah, and they're like, that's a fucking fake name. That's the crime guy from. And so then they went and they like watched it. And
That's awesome.
Whenever some dude came to pick up the package, they arrested him because yeah.
Props to John Wick 2.
Yeah.
Props to Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, that's recycled. Spleen is the record's name. Missing Digits had great T-shirts. They sure did.
They did.
Good in the Sack had great T-shirts.
Did you know, Steve, that I was born with an extra thumb that was amputated?
So he could have been in Missing
so
Digits.
I should have been in Missing Digits. And Amato and I often like argued about that. Like, you son of a... Amato would be like, you son of a bitch. You had an extra thumb. I needed it.
You could have given me that.
Yeah.
Crime Guy isn't a bad band name. That's what Shane said.
Shane, I wouldn't say it's good. It's
Let's-
not the worst.
Dude, we're at 10 viewers. See, I'm like, dude, we've been on here for 2 hours and 11 minutes, 12
Yeah.
minutes, but now we have the most viewers that we've had.
Now we're like in the sweet spot.
That's right. Is the record name? What the hell's going on? Amato! Thomas was cheering for Amato.
Hell yeah.
I have 9 toes, Steve says.
Nice, Steve.
Who burn?
I knew that, though. But thanks for telling everybody.
Thomas says Missing Digits is the most underrated band in Austin.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was the closest damn thing that you could come to Jawbreaker and, not be Jawbreaker. I mean, in the
Missing
spirit,
Digits is the most underrated band in Austin.
I like that. That's a good drop. I thought that they were about as good as you could be to as a 3-piece. It's really hard to be a 3-piece and sound full. You know.
I had to do that again. I had to do that again because Thomas asked me to say it again. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they did sound full.
Yeah, man. It's hard. It's hard. And they did good.
In 2001. I'm following up. I'm getting follow-up instructions.
In 2001.
In 2001.
In a world where most bands are a 4-piece, Missing Digits defined a sound.
El Flaco.
El Flaco, I like them. Yeah. They're like one of those Andy Langer fucking picks, though. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
El Flaco was an amazing,
Woohoo!
amazing 3-piece.
Yeah. Yeah, I give you that. I liked, Cruiserweight. I mean, you don't really call a 3-piece when the singer doesn't play an instrument, but they're kind of a 3-piece.
Super Zero.
Super Zero.
The Mexican
Ooh.
Bad Religion.
Don't fucking sleep on Super Zero.
They were badass.
Yeah, they were legit.
Yeah, Bassmaster Matty, Amato, Ben, and Steve.
That's right.
Steve.
Oh, Steve. Scuba Steve.
LOL. I know exactly what you mean by Langer picks. Yes,
I love Andy Langer though too. He gave us a big break. Maybe not the big break, but he was instrumental in really pushing things.
He was always really cool with us. Always backed us on.
And we should have been a band that he kicked the ass of.
No,
If you really think about the bands that he likes and don't like, but for whatever reason, he was always sweet to us. I think he could tell we play with heart.
and I think he also knew that there was always this local scene that was like the sweethearts of the Chronicle, and it was like the Bob Schneider bands and all the other bands that were going to be on the Chronicle, and there were always
Shout
on the
out to
Chronicle.
Clint giving a rose to Sandra Bullock while Bob Schneider.
Where were you, Bob?
Boom.
Dropping a deuce?
Mr.
I
Steal
moved in
Your
with the
Girl.
flower.
Yeah.
Gave my flower. Here you go, Sandra.
That's right. And then jumped in a limo.
Yeah, and it
Mr.
was
Steal Your Girl.
That's right, and it was my birthday too.
Fuck yeah.
That was awesome.
Shout out to birthdays.
And then we went back, and there was a surprise party at the Hillside Oaks house. That was a
Yeah.
good time. It was a fun night. That's when we won the best alternative punk band in Austin in 2002.
We found out we were just writ in like right there. That was pretty badass.
Really?
I mean, they were going to give it to us, but they hadn't you know what I mean? They were like, and who's second? You know what I mean? It wasn't like a super organized, awesome thing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I forgot what I was gonna say. Doesn't even matter. Shout out to birthdays.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Oh,
Shout
no.
out to birthdays.
No, I was gonna say like it was weird because you go to like we go sell out a House of Blues in Orlando, and then you come back, and then like they wouldn't mention us in the Chronicle at
Or
all.
they'd
They wouldn't
say,
say
like,
anything like.
They'd say like,
Oh,
what was it? Clear Channel wouldn't come within 500 feet of these guys or some shit like that.
We'd have a little on the thing, and then we go like play a huge show into some other city that we and we come back, and like it was always funny. It's like and now I could give a shit less, dude. I would rather nobody know who we are here, and then go play in Japan and be huge, or go to like Australia and go make money, have a thing, and come back here and nobody. But back then we're like, we just want to be recognized at home.
Why don't you love us? We're like the middle kid in a fucking dysfunctional family.
Vallejo on the Chronicle again, and Bob Snyder again, and all these bands, and we never got any love. I think
it's because we snuck by. We snuck by the old guard.
We didn't have
they didn't like it.
We didn't have our residency at Antone's. That's
right.
why. That's right. We weren't good enough musicians for that. That's why. Yeah. But whatever.
We got away.
Oh, I got a ping in here. Ding. Picking Up the Pieces is the most underrated song of all time. Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas.
I dig that one.
That was a fun one. Dave liked that one too. That was a Dave Keel. He would write that in the set list. We didn't write it in.
Yeah, that was always a fun one. I remember singing that on that another time in San Antonio on the stage, and everything turned white. I was hitting the high note.
You're singing that pretty
I don't wanna
chingon.
think about it.
Yeah.
And everything turned white, and I thought I was gonna fall off the stage. And then the song ended, and then I laid down in the grass, and then I went over to the VIP tent. And that's when I was like passed out by the table, and you had like Ice-T stepping over me, and all those people stepping over me, and they're like, "Is he okay?" Yeah, okay.
That was when we were on the back of that truck stage or stage.
That's exactly. They're like, "Dude, you missed it. Friggin' Travis Barker just walked over you. Oh, Living End, the guy tripped over you."
That's funny.
Yeah.
Dude, we talked about ourselves a lot. We did a really good podcast of like #humble bragging.
Yeah, man. We were kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Glory days.
Glory. Well, let's shut it down.
Glory days.
We had a lot of fun, and it was fun. I was like, Dustin was going to come over and just hang, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm doing a Black Shirt podcast." And then the last second, we ended up not doing that. So I said, "Hey, dude, you want to?"
I fucking kneecapped that guy.
Yeah.
I was like, "Let me get in on this shit."
I'm like, "Dude, come over. We'll just talk about." I mean, I knew we could talk for 2 hours easy, so we had a good time.
We have more
Thanks,
stories
Thomas.
too, but they're not fit for,
I'm trying to think of some other good ones. There's got to be something.
Take your pick. Name a tour.
So many good ones.
Goldfinger, their whole crew would come on our bus to eat cheeseburgers because he was vegan and get mad at him. So they'd come on our bus and eat cheeseburgers.
I forgot about that.
Smoke weed and eat cheeseburgers.
Yeah, you couldn't eat cheeseburgers on the Goldfinger bus. They also used auto-tune. I shouldn't tell the baton behind the scenes.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Like, they're still around, dude.
Whatever, man.
We barely won't get big times anymore, bro.
No, they had a rack tuner. It always blew my mind because there was an auto-tune rack unit that I had, and that Paul gave me, and like, you couldn't sing with that thing live because if you were singing and you start to go up, it'll correct it. But if you can hear that, it's a mind fuck, and there's no way to sing with that live. And somehow they did it.
They had a fucking really good sound
it wasn't,
guy.
It wasn't
super goth sound guy.
It wasn't. I don't think it was John Feldman. I think it was for the backup vocal or something or whatever. Just kidding. They didn't have that.
Yeah, kidding.
I just totally made that up. Who else? Zebrahead. You remember when we were at the Quest in Minneapolis and it was so hot that they had super soakers and
we played on the bottom stage of the Quest. Yeah, that was awesome.
And we were super soaking. It was so hot and the AC broke, but they had the show anyway. And so we just soaked the crowd down with super soakers.
And I ran out into the alleyway, which is the alleyway from Purple Rain, and I tore my shirt with my strength.
Hey, Angie has a question for Dustin.
Yes, ma'am.
Look up.
Sorry, Angie.
So
I'm probably looking
Look up, she says. I don't know what that means. Okay, did that
Do
end?
I have like nostril hair or something? Unsightly nostril hair?
I don't know. I looked up.
Oh, I think because I've been looking this way, I'm not looking at the camera.
I don't know what's going on.
Clint's probably gonna get pissed at me. He'll probably never invite me back because I'm like looking at him the whole time,
Yep.
and I'm supposed to be looking right here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. If you look at me, you spit into the mic, and then you end up with a.
Oh yeah.
But if you're talking across the mic.
But I'm really good with the mic.
But you're like.
Yeah, I'm really good with the mic. I've been like this, dog. I just been talking like this.
I know you're a pro, bro.
Yeah. I'm semi-pro.
I'm semi-amateur.
Bush League.
Angie wants your favorite song to perform, Dustin.
That is hard.
I'm looking. The comments are right there.
Gosh.
If you tell.
Pick up the pieces is really good. See the Light, maybe, man. Maybe See the Light.
That was a fun one.
There was never any time we started with See the Light at like a House of Blues or something. It was fuck. In my head, I was like, fuck you, fuck you. I was just want to like, my whole idea is I just want to be a flamethrower. You know what I mean? I just want to be like Dragon Breath and just be like, but I'm like so cheesy and lame. Like I'll write a song and I think it's coming out like Black Sabbath. You know, I'm like, fuck yeah. I listen back to it. It sounds more like Bob Seger. So anytime in my mind, I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm like throwing it down like H2O. It like comes out like, you know, whatever.
I always love.
See the Light was really fun to play.
I always love Follow Through. Like,
Follow Through
that was a
fun.
fun one, and like that was a good time for me to run around and get crazy.
It
and
wasn't always fun for me because I'm like I always feel like I didn't feel like when I play rhythm guitar, I'm super comfortable. But when I'm singing, I always feel like right before I sing, the feeling you got in elementary school when someone told you that they're going to kick your ass at the bike racks after school, that feeling you got like, oh my God, here it comes. Oh my God, I'm going to have to do it. I've been in times like in Riddlin Kids or the Nimoys, when I'm singing, I'm like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. Like every time, like even in Say Hello to the
dude,
Angels,
you were badass. What are you talking
thanks,
about?
man. But it's just like one of those things. It's like maybe that's what makes it good is I'm like fighting the, you know.
I always love the breakdown in that song too.
It's a good breakdown.
And then just the whole message behind that song is good. I love
it's really
that
tough.
was one of my favorite ones.
Like I liked I guess the only song that was important to me in a way that I sang was like what is it? Wasted Away. It actually meant a lot to some people. I didn't realize it was going to mean something. And, you know, the Descendants and Fugazi got me through high school, and Henry Rollins, hard volume. And that was like, I never thought I'd be able to do something, write a song that would be that as important as like that to somebody. I think that was really special, like a benchmark for me.
I had a lot of people that said that I Feel Fine made them like helped them get through, and I'm like, oh, it's just a fun pop song or whatever, and you know, and like just a smart ass sarcastic pop song. And I had a lot of people that were like, dude, that really helped me out when
That's awesome.
And so like to look back and be like, that's fucking cool, you know, and you could say that like, all right, like that's badass. I'm
sure Deep Purple didn't think much of Smoke on the Water at the time.
I'm sharing this in the comments.
What is it?
It is the Big Stink performance.
Oh yeah.
Of
that's Portland, right?
Yeah, the Big Stink performance in Portland, Oregon of Follow Through is a really cool performance. That was one of my favorite shows. Was in Portland, and it was the singer for Everclear. Art Alexakis was the host, and Tommy Chong was there too.
Who said that?
What?
Who said that? Oh, you.
I just got on and shared it onto the.
Okay.
And so it's up here in the comments. So
like,
anybody gets bored with us rambling, you can click on that YouTube link, and that was might be my favorite Riddlin Kids show ever.
That was a really weird time for me too, because like we had actually finished all finished up, and the record hadn't even come out yet, right? It was coming out.
I don't.
Because it was a big delay.
It was already being played on the radio. I know
right.
because Art Alexakis right before we played. We were ready. He went on and he had a radio show for Portland's radio station, and he's like, yeah, blah blah blah, and blah blah blah, so and so, the lucky winners of blah blah blah, and this and that, and we had a good time. And he's just doing radio talk, you know, and then he's like, yeah, and this band that we have been playing on my show, and I'm excited, the great songs, and blah blah blah, and I was like, who's he talking about? He's really talking these guys up, and then he's like, give it up for Riddlin Kids, and I'm like, oh crap, he's talking about us, and then we go out there, and I'm like, whoa, and then right before Dave clicks off, he's like, he leans in into my ear, he goes, hey man, I love your voice. And I was like, I fucking love Everclear.
Yeah,
like I
too.
really dig
Me
Everclear
too.
a lot. And he said that, I was like, oh, and then all of a sudden,
That's like ice in the kicker.
yeah, it's like he tapped me in the nuts.
Yeah,
I'm like,
totally.
oh, and then Dave just like,
hey man, don't fuck up.
yeah, and exactly. Hey man, don't fuck up. And I'm like, oh,
Sorry, guys.
yeah. So no, that's exactly what happened. So then I was like, whoa, and so we started the set off
That's
and
great.
rocked it, and it was super fun. But yeah, that might be my favorite one. And that's the same one where Tommy Chong was like, hey man, will you sign this? Will you sign this for my son?
my
I'm like,
God.
I'll fucking you sign something for me. I was like, are you kidding
I
me?
grew up with Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, me too.
My
Like,
first dog was named Jaime after the Cheech and Chong dog.
yeah, like me too. My
Yeah.
sister used to play the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas
Yeah.
and all that stuff when I was a kid. I mean, from the time I was 5 years old, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
man.
So yeah, so that was like completely blew me away. That was badass.
I was going through some crazy shit too. That the song actually meant something to me during that time because I had lost a shitload of weight. I was feeling unsure about myself. I was going bald. You know what I mean? I was not sure about my place in the world. This crazy thing was like happening to us. You know, I didn't know my place, and it was like
And it was also weird too, because after a little while we're doing this thing and it starts to get routine, but then like I don't call it routine. It's like at first it's all shiny and new.
it's like a well-rehearsed play after a while.
But after a while, it's like it turns into Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And even like at first, you're like, "Holy crap, this is really happening to us! This thing, whoa, this
Yeah.
thing." But like after a while, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird. That was also you dick. That was also the show that they had an army set up where if you climb up the
yes.
pole, you get a free shirt or something.
Yep.
And Dustin used to like to do a thing with me, and I'm start getting these random calls in hotels across America.
That's right.
And like I'd get woken up. We'd partied and out, stayed up late, and I'll wake up. Oh God, hey, this is Sergeant so and so with the recruiting office for blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to join the Marines. Like, and I'm like, what the hell?
What I
had
used
the
to do-
Navy recruiter. I had an Army recruiter.
Air Force.
Air Force.
What I used to do is like they'd be at all these big shows and events and stuff, right? So there'd be like a wall climb thing, right? And if you could climb the wall, you get something. I would start challenging kids. I'd be like, if you could beat me up the wall, you get a free Riddlin Kids t-shirt. And I would go up the wall and they'd be like, hey man, have you ever thought about signing up for the military? As a matter of fact, I absolutely have. My name is Clint Baker. My phone number is, and
You
I would
fucking
do
dick.
push-ups. I would do chin-ups, whatever. And I was really physically fit at the time. And every time they'd ask me, I'd be like, yeah, my name is Clint Baker. And they would call it like, because of the Army, they'd call like 6 a.m. when
Dude,
Clint's like hungover.
They would
at a
call me
hotel.
all the time, and I'm like, and finally, and apparently he told everybody about it.
Yeah.
The last one getting to the van, getting in the van, and I'm like, God dang it! Like what's the matter, man? And I'm like, dude, a fucking Navy recruiter called me again. I don't know what the hell. Like, it was silent in the van, and I'm like, something's up. And then all of a sudden, Dustin
Yeah.
loses shit. Everybody in the van starts laughing, and
It was
Yeah, I'm
after
like,
September 11th.
douchebag,
everybody was
douchebag, and Dustin fessed up to it. But it had been a while, like it'd been going on for months.
All 4 major branches of the armed forces.
I don't know if in the last 15 years you've had Gold's Gym call you about
No,
it.
did you do that
I've
with
signed
me?
you up at least 5 times.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one time for I will buy your house. We buy houses. I signed you up for that.
Right on, dude.
Because I thought nothing would be funnier
Yeah, that's
than
great.
be
You're
like,
a
hey,
realtor and-
hey, yeah, I saw you want to buy your house, or what? You want to sell your house? Wait, you want to buy a house? No. Do you want to sell your house? Do you want to sell your house? Like, what are you talking about? I'm a realtor. What are you talking about?
That's really good.
I thought that would be freaking hilarious.
Good,
I wish I could be on the other end of that call.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Thomas is having fun. He said he hasn't laughed this much since quarantine. All right, awesome,
Nice.
dude. I'm glad we could bring a little relief to some people. We're on 10 viewers.
All right.
Yeah. All right. We only have 3 people commenting, so I wonder who the other 7 are.
Yeah, who are they?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, if you ever want to get somebody, I could tell you this. There's a place, I hope they're still around, Casey Donuts on Brody Lane, right next to this, on SQ and Brody Lane. There's a 7-Eleven, then there's a Papa John's, and right before Evangeline, the Cajun place that's also badass, there's a place called Casey Donuts. They have amazing breakfast tacos and really good donuts, and they always have a little box that has a little pad that has Gold's Gym
Nice.
2-week trial membership. You could win the drawing to win
Shit.
Here's a little secret. Everyone's a winner. Every name that goes in there gets
Yeah.
a free membership for 2 weeks. And Dustin's name has been put into that box
Sweet.
many a time.
I deserve it, man.
Yeah.
Yep. I pulled some capers.
Ben is lurking, supporting. LOL.
Which Ben?
Ballard, man.
Hello, Nemesis.
Hello, Ben.
Hello, Ben. Shout out to Ben Ballard, who's amazing VR developer, by the way. I've messed around with some of his VR. He's early adopter of the technology, and he's got some really cool stuff working. Maybe you'd like to post something for people to check out.
Yeah, dude, you should definitely do that. I did a little stuff for him, a little voiceover
Right
on
on.
one of his things. That was really cool. Yes, sir. What else we got? Nemesis, LOL. Thanks, D.
That's right. I'm training my children to take over for me, Ben, if you outlive me.
This is dope, guys. Love it. Keep these coming. Thomas Sierra.
Thomas Sierra. Great to hear from you, man.
Yeah, man.
I don't think we talked about where Mark came from Riddlin Kids.
Yeah.
The where we stole him from.
We didn't steal him. He got kicked out. We picked him up off the side of the road.
And totally.
Like, hey, bro,
Hey, man.
come play with us. Who else we got over here? Ben Ballard. I'm not scared, Ben says.
You should be.
Yeah.
They're a wily, crafty couple of,
Thomas said,
children.
Dustin, I just spit my drink out on my laptop. Awesome.
Oh, man.
Yeah, dude. Now we know what to do on Tuesdays
Totally.
for quarantine
All right.
time. We haven't had band practice in forever.
Yeah, that sucks, by the way. I'm ready to get back playing.
Dude, I'm sick of paying practice room
Well,
rent, and
I've
we don't
fought-
use the fucking
I
room.
fought really hard to get to the middle, man, to become an
That's
adequate
right.
guitar player. I don't want to slide back into subpar where I've been the most of my life.
Ben says, I'm sure they learned from the best.
That's right.
Training kids.
My young one is like a baby Vader. He's definitely the mean one. Sometime we ought to have like Thomas and Ben Ballard on here, and I ought to give how Vader is the only character in Star Wars.
Thomas Sierra said it was a Dave Mustaine thing.
It totally was,
Yeah.
man. It totally was.
Put that up.
That's fucking great, Thomas. I miss you, dude. I hope you're doing good. Yeah, shout out to Peep and Tom.
Yeah, man.
And all the ladies. Dude, I gotta say, like, the band that had the most, like, girls around them that weren't, like, somebody's girlfriend, but, like, drew girls, Peep and Tom. Far and away.
Yeah,
Far and away.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, as I'm going back in the mental Rolodex.
You're like,
Yeah.
Thomas, Lord, another old school band. Angie said, Dustin, you should meet my son.
I know, man.
Ben
I'm so
Ballard.
proud of you, dude.
Ben Ballard put a link for his VR stuff.
Sweet. Got to check that out, guys.
Thomas said, no gets.
It blew me away.
We're at 11. Now we're one up.
One up. One more person.
We got 11 viewers.
Who could it be now?
2 thumbs up. 7 hearts.
7 hearts.
9 crying laughings. Yes.
I like that.
Mike Patton brings the ladies, Shane Elm says.
Yeah, he does too.
All right.
Man, so many good memories, guys. Brought back tonight. Pretty awesome.
Ours goes to 11. I should have done that with a British accent.
This one goes to 11.
There you go.
But what if you just made 10 louder? But this one goes to 11.
We've got armadillos in our trousers.
Yeah, we've got armadillos in our trousers. It's really quite frightening.
I said that
Then
today.
he goes to the airport and like, meow, 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 meow.
Oh, good old.
Smile Tap's so good. Since my baby left me.
Oh, what's his face? Died from. Hey, I'm kind of need a haircut myself. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah,
what's his name?
Fred Willard.
Yeah, Fred Willard, man, he was badass.
Pretty awesome.
Might be my favorite performance in that.
Pretty good.
That's hard. It's hard to say. There's so many like good perform, but he was badass.
I mean, Paul Schaefer, like, kick my ass.
Yeah.
Just cut. And Fran Drescher.
Oh. Let's see. Ooh, we were just talking. That's right, Michelle. Michelle's one of the viewers. My friend Michelle, Nigel. All right. Well, shoot, man. Well, let's shut her down. It's gonna be midnight in 10 minutes.
That's right.
So,
I turn back into a pumpkin. I turn back into a dad at midnight. Wife starts calling me, where to hell are you? Where to the hell?
better cut it out, dude. You're
She's
gonna
like-
get in trouble.
She's super pissed because it's the thing she says wrong in English. I never correct her because it's cute. And then she finds out later from other people. And she's like, what to hell? Why did you not tell me? Like, blah, 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 blah. She doesn't talk like that anymore. She's like, really, like, she just sounds like an angry American. That's how Germans sound when they don't have a German accent anymore. But yeah, it's like super cute. All the
That's
little
funny.
things. She was like, tried to say one time when we were first together, when she first came and saw me, she's like, I'm like, so are you going to tell your mom you like Texas on this little postcard? She's like, no, I tell my mom Texas sucks me. And we're in the you know, she's trying to say Texas sucks, but she said Texas sucks me. And we were like in this like post office on the drag, right? And I think like North Lamar or whatever. And I was just like cracking up laughing. She didn't know I was like cracking up laughing.
No, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I used to be able to impress her with all the free refills that you can get because you can't get free refills. They charge you for every Coke that you get. In
Oh,
Germany.
yeah.
So she was just like, I'm like, you're free. Here is freedom. Have another taste of freedom. Have another fountain drink.
That always made me laugh. I was in like where were we? Hamburg. That's where the Reeperbahn is, right? Hamburg.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, they had whiskey. I was like, sweet. I think they had bottled Jack Daniels. I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm having some whiskey and Coke. All right, cool. And I was like, hey, can I get extra ice? I'm like, oh, sure. There's like one ice cube in there. And then
Yeah.
they're like, can I get extra ice? Oh, sure. They with tongs.
Dink. Yeah.
Dink. There's 2 ice cubes in there. I'm
Yeah.
like, are you fucking kidding me? And then I said, hey, can I have a bucket of ice? And they're like, yes. And so they gave me a little bucket of ice, and I took it back to our dressing room.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I was stoked. So then I was making my own Jack and Coke.
Yeah.
So I was having a good time. Good time.
They probably thought you were a piece of shit.
No, they didn't know. I was like, hey, I need ice for the guys back there. Oh, they're gonna make a bunch of drinks. Okay, yeah, we can
Okay.
get you a
Yeah.
bucket of ice.
They're
But
going to make 30 drinks?
but
okay.
yeah. But they were very puzzled. They were like, hold on, let me ask somebody. And they're like,
Yeah.
hey, can we give them a bucket of ice? And they're like, yeah. And so they went back and like, oh, and they got
Yeah.
a pot or something and put
Sweet.
a bunch of ice in this like pot. They didn't
Right.
even have it. Yeah, it was funny. So those crazy Germans. Yes. Okay, what else we got? Good hamburgers in Hamburg. Never had a Hamburg. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger
That's
today.
where I had my first doner kebab.
It was in Hamburg?
Thank you, Ben Ballard in the Greek.
Yeah,
Yep.
donors are the best.
Yeah, they used to have them here, man, but that place,
Verts?
yeah, Verts.
But
folded,
Verts
dude.
was bullshit, dude. Well, when they first opened,
Not the way I got them to make it.
when they first opened, they were good.
When
And
they
then
first opened, they had Germans working there.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
then they started putting the lines burnt and like pressing the lines because they got bought out, and then it turned to bullshit.
Yeah, when it was noon or whatever, it turned into.
Well, then it turned into noon. That was even more bullshit. But like, yeah, at first when they first opened, they were good,
Right.
and they changed the sauces. There's a pretty cool place where Verts was right down the street. That's pretty legit. I'll have to take you there one day.
If they have
It's
real.
good. It's not donors, but
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah,
place.
right
So,
on.
but well, cool. Well, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. We've been on here for a minute, and maybe we'll have to do this again because we've been talking for
pretty
2
fun.
hours and 41 minutes, and we're still talking. So, guys, this is a Clint Baker show. This has been a special Riddlin Kids Memories edition with Dustin Stroud, the legendary Dustin Stroud.
Ladies and gentlemen,
maybe-
Dustin Stroud.
Maybe one of these days we can get somebody else to Skype in or something.
That'd be great.
That would be super
If
fun.
we could like Skype in Dave and we mute him when we feel like it, so he's just like yelling at the screen. That would
You
be
son of a bitch! Oh,
badass.
that'd be fun.
Dave, what do you think about the time that you like, blah 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 blah. And you can see
So
it where
anyway.
he's like, and we talk over and like, let me tell you what happened with Dave here, and like he can hear it. That'd be fucking sweet.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. But awesome. Well, guys, like, subscribe, share this stuff with your friends. I do interviews on here. I'm going to be here Thursday night. If you're not doing anything, I will be on here with Tim Stiegel. And we're going to have more stuff. I also have the Black Shirt Podcast. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be live streaming Black Shirt Podcast, my other podcast with Dirk Gage. We're probably not going to go on until 10 or 10:30. I've got some stuff going on in the evening. So tomorrow I'll be doing one thing. Thursday I'll be doing another. And if you're not on for the live streams on any of these, I always have them on my fan page. If you haven't subscribed to my fan page, please check that out. And I'm going now. I have the like and subscribe banner thing at the bottom. Please check that out. Follow my page, and we'll let you know whenever we're doing future stuff. Also on YouTube, you can like and subscribe on that. So anyway, okay, we get it, Clint. You want us to like and subscribe and follow? We get it. Okay, we bring Dustin back, would you? Okay, here's Dustin. Dustin, you want to give a goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to us.
Yeah, man. Thanks. And we will see you guys again soon. Thanks for tuning in. And we will see you later.